Welcome into the Cam and Strick podcast, episode number 97.
Damn,
Ronick,
boy.
dude. Ronick,
Damn, boy.
Joe Thornton.
You got Conor McDavid.
McDavid.
I always call him Conor McGregor. I always get those two mixed up.
Yeah?
Isn't that weird? Yeah. Oh, boy's fighting Evander Holyfield. Logan Paul, I guess, now.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Why do I not give a fuck?
Not Jake Paul.
Why do I not
it's
give a
Logan
fuck?
Paul.
It's
Logan
Logan
Paul.
Paul.
He's going to fight Evander Kane?
Yeah. No. Mayweather.
Oh,
not
Floyd
Evander Kane.
Mayweather?
They told Evander Kane to go fuck himself, and you're not popular enough for me. And I'm sure San Jose Sharks are like, oh, hi, Evander Kane. Oh, we're paying you, what, $7 million a year?
Yeah.
Oh, go fight Jake Paul for us. That's going to hurt. That's going to help our brand.
Exactly.
Now, don't work your one-timer.
We're paying you $7 million a year
Don't
so you
work
can go
your-
train to fight.
Andy, this is ridiculous. If I'm San Jose Sharks, honestly, and I don't want to get too far because we talked about it last
We
time.
talked about it 3 or 4 times
But
now.
it just came out. Put your foot down. Mm-hmm. Put your foot down with Evander Kane.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Foot down.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Go fight Reaver.
No shit. Thank you.
Can you fight somebody else
How
first?
about you fight for the puck in the corner?
And then we'll talk about having some, professional fights.
He's just like,
Well, I'm glad you broke that news for us.
Yeah, well, sorry.
That's the first thing you bring up today.
What are you going to talk about?
That he's
I
fought, like-
bought a house yesterday too, baby. I'm pretty pumped up about
So
it.
you put the offer on,
Yeah, it
and
was.
she didn't know who you were, right?
Yes, not off the bat. And
No.
So I'll give you an example of what happened. So we've been going through different times. Guys, I've been living in this house since I was 19 years old. I went through a bunch of tough times. I had to kind of get back
Is this
to
the
normal.
house next to your parents?
House next to my
And
parents.
2 houses down from your aunt, right?
Yeah, 2 houses down, and I know my parents don't. We know everybody in the subdivision. It's just time.
Everybody.
Kate and I have been looking. Well, we honestly do. They go through my fucking dumpster when I have one.
I
You
know
know
they
that.
do. And
But
your
the,
dirt.
But the point is, Andy, you just built your house. Excited about that. Kate and I are finally doing this, and the one thing that sealed the deal. We've been getting fucked over in this neighborhood for so much with these guys. They're trying to buy a house. We were a little bit late. The old guy didn't want to because he wasn't ready to sell. So we're just like, God, just so all you guys know, like you've done this before. If you bought houses, like you get obsessed with something, it doesn't go through, and you're like, oh my God, we'll never find anything like it until you do.
Are we doing the show live from a construction site today, or
No,
what?
I can shut that one. No, we like our
the
we have a
window's
new
open.
office.
It's so nice, by the way, because the
gives a
window's
shit?
open. It's so fresh. Get that fresh air coming in.
Andy,
we're in a new
I'm
office.
I'm in my happy place.
I know
right
we
now.
are in a new office today.
Andy and I we're gonna have new houses, and we have a new office. Although it's not like lovely, but it's like our own fucking thing,
know.
and I don't give a shit. I love it. Anywho, here. So I'm gonna give you advice. If you're buying a house and you're an adorable couple like Kate and I are, which we are, very adorable, we are. But the point is, our real estate agent Sharon goes, send this old lady.
Sharon.
She goes, send this old lady a note about how you love castle houses because it looks like a castle, and how you lived in Nottingham and played over there.
Ooh.
And Kate wrote this little thing up.
Did you bring it with you?
I have it right here.
Can I hear the
Yeah,
letter?
I'll read it right now. It's the cutest.
Did you mention that you?
It's the cutest little thing in the world. Kate is like.
Did you say I played for Guelph?
No. Kate did this. Sent this older lady. She doesn't need the money, but she just her husband died. She has this house. It's a little outdated. It's immaculate.
How did you explain it to me?
What?
You said immaculately outdated.
Outdated.
Yes.
Immaculately outdated. Meaning everything, I could drop ice cream on the ground and be like, lick it up because there's not even a dog hair, nothing. So anyway, we're obsessed with this place. We're fucking freaking out. Kate and I have been busting our ass. I had to crawl out of holes.
Can I say?
let
let
me
me ask
read
you
this.
this though.
What?
So you make an offer and she says no.
Well,
right?
we thought it was gonna be a lot cheaper than one, and so we just were confused off the bat.
Because what led to you writing the letter? You didn't write the letter right off the bat.
We threw her a number that was suitable for what we could pay and what we needed to do as far as the upgrades are concerned.
Okay.
And we didn't want to piss her off or anything like that. So Kate wrote this letter
Isn't
to her.
it nerve-wracking, by the way?
Oh, fucking A.
So nerve-wracking.
It's not for me because I live next to my parents and I'm going
I
to
know
miss
you
them
do,
and my
yes.
doggies and the doggies
I don't know
next
how you're
door.
going to handle
Oh,
that.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I don't know
help
how you're
me.
going to handle
Here's
that.
the point, though. It's for my wife. And she's stuck by my side, and I owe this angel a lot.
You made
And
your wife live next door to your parents for like
no
20
shit.
years.
My parents take care of us, and her parents take care of
Yes.
us. I'm a fucking God. I'm pathetic how much we use our parents. Anyway, dear lovely homeowner, we have lived in many places. One being England, where we fell.
Lovely homeowner? That's
This is
what
what
you
we
called
do.
her? You don't have her name?
This is what we don't know her. We don't know
Dear
anything.
lovely homeowner.
Is Kate not know what she's doing?
Go ahead.
Get on with your stuff. Dear lovely homeowner, we've lived in many places, one being England, where we fell in love with castles and history. We've been on a search for our forever home for a while now, but the moment we saw your house, we fell in love. We call it our castle house dream home, Andy. As soon as we walked in and noticed a beautiful stone fireplace, our eyes locked in, and we knew we had to have it. We immediately could envision having a family, probably not, and friends over, but more importantly, it feels like the perfect place to start a family, Andy.
Are you having
having no
kids?
motherfucking kids. I got fucking cats, and I'm getting fucking dogs.
Hold on.
That's it. No.
I think she's not on the same page with you on this.
But when you say family,
it gets their attention.
Oh, God, it gets their attention.
Especially the old lady with no dog hair on the floor with what is it, like beautifully
immaculate,
outdated?
Outdated.
Yeah, okay.
We immediately could envision having a family and friends. So she goes, we hope you consider us as the next proud owner of your wonderful home as we are ready to start the next chapter in our life. And we wish you all the best in yours. Cheers. Kate and Cam Jansen.
Beautifully written.
And then she posted a couple pictures of us in Nottingham.
Kate and Cam. Not Cam and Kate. Kate and Cam.
I was disrespected by that. I actually had her. No, I actually had her change
can
that.
I just tell Kate? Kate, beautifully written.
It was that night.
I loved it. And you know what?
She started crying.
Who, the old lady?
Yes, she did.
Or Cam. or Kate.
They all did. Everybody did.
Did
Everybody's
you meet
crying.
her face to face?
No, we sent that to her, but then we sent pictures of us. Oh,
Did you
my
give her like an autographed can of
She
Skull
wants to
or
adopt
something,
us
or no?
now. It's
Okay.
crazy.
Okay.
And so anyway, if the Blues start
You're
playing,
part of the family.
If the Blues start playing, now they know who we are and shit. So now that if the Blues start playing, we got to hook this old lady up.
Why? Is she a diehard Blues fan?
Oh, well, she is now. See how that works? See how we spread the word, baby? We spread the word. Anyway, we're really excited. We busted our ass on this shit, and so we're going to have parties, man, and we want to entertain people. No, I'm fucking serious.
Have parties?
I ain't playing. I'm going to entertain everybody, and I'll even Uber your ass out there because we live a farther away on a lovely golf course.
How are you going to handle living that far away?
I live far away now, Andy.
No, this is further away.
No, it's not,
yeah,
Andy. Andy, you don't know shit.
Okay,
you
it's
live. Don't start with me. Don't start with me. You don't know shit. I live in fucking Eureka. This is St. Albans now. I live in the poor part of a kind of a middle-class subdivision. Now I'm in the wealthy part
What
of
do you say when you
County.
see someone walking down the street? What is this person doing walking down the middle-class part of Eureka?
That's exactly right. I have people staring in my front yard. I have people staring in my backyard. I can't walk around naked anymore. That's a fucking absolute no-no. I got people texting me during the night saying, hey, I know you're up because your kitchen light's open. I'm fucking done. I'm done with
Who's doing that?
God damn, man.
Besides your mom and dad?
No, with that, another thing, Cam, we need butter. I'm like, fuck. I'm trying to fucking sleep.
Butter?
I'm like,
Who needs butter?
Looking up something, and I'm like, I don't want to deal. What, Mom?
Okay, no,
Jesus.
you need. Oh, I got you. Okay.
I can't even
and she
have.
needs to come in the house
I can't
and
have
borrow
like
some butter.
Like I got intimate time. Like what?
Yeah,
My mom fucking banging on the door. No, that's
you
not the
need
problem.
that sign on the outside of the door that says open, closed. You just got to set the tone.
My parents don't bug me. They've seen so much shit throughout that house. But I will say this right now: when we sell our house, if some family writes a letter to me and says, "Cam, I'm going to have my little son Ty, it's like your little son, in your basement when you were 19,
in his chill zone,
and you had your fucking net down there, and I'm going to tape the windows up with pillows like you did, and I'm going to shoot pucks down there with my little son. I really want this house. And
the house is yours.
I'll be like, oh God, take everything.
How low are you willing to go?
I mean, look. My house is.
people are listening now. They may get a steal on this.
If
now.
this,
Tug
my
at the
house
heartstrings
I'm not
a little
selling
bit.
my house is not that expensive. It's like in the twos, okay? Like it's not like a monster house. It's my little cute house that I had for a long time. So if there's a $5,000 difference and a guy wrote me a letter, $7,000, even $10,000. Which is a lot in that price range. I'd be like, fuck.
You'd have to think hard about it. Don't make any promises.
No, I don't make my wife, whatever. I honestly would be like, fucking A. You got a little kid, little Ty down there playing hockey where I used to play. No, you take the fucking house.
Congratulations on this.
Thanks, man.
This is big news, man. We're happy for you and Kate.
Dude, we're gonna do videos and shit at our house. Like, man, I know.
I've heard you say that before.
Well, we're gonna do we cook now. Like we want new hot.
Wait, you don't cook at your house now?
Yeah, but there's nothing cool in the background. Okay, I'm looking at other houses. They're staring at me. I don't like that. Andy, we need to get into golf, baby.
No, you got to have privacy.
I ain't playing. I want Doug Armstrong, okay?
To take us golfing.
Fucking A, at Belle Reed.
Let's give a shout out to Army
let's do that right now.
Because, we talked about Neil, the Hall of Fame linesman, when he was on with us, man. Great response, by the way, from our sit-down interview with Doug Armstrong, man. We appreciate him doing that.
Oh, God. Really big
We love talking to Army. kind of brought public a conversation that we would typically have privately, to be honest.
Totally, dude.
And he was great. And his father just passed away. I know his dad. He had so much respect for his dad. You think about Doug carving out a career and the long career that he's had in the game of hockey. He wouldn't have that without his dad, man. That's the connection they'll always have together. When you consider his dad kind of paving the way and showing him the ropes and helping to instill that passion for the game of hockey when you're a young kid, when you see your dad on the ice. Like Neil Armstrong, he was on the ice. I think he worked something like 20 straight Stanley Cup finals, something like that. Something crazy.
And that was in the era where shit's going down, dude. It's like, guys, refs are getting punched in the fucking head.
Oh, my God.
Like, purposely.
Like Terry O'Reilly going crazy on
Andy Van Hellemond and shit. Like, fucking wax him in the back of the... Like, what the... Psycho shit.
Are you surprised it doesn't happen more often?
Not anymore. But back then...
What about, like, even in football and basketball and stuff like that?
Would you see the ref the other day?
High school.
Did we talk about that?
In high school football.
On the podcast?
I don't think we talked about it on the podcast. I talked about it on the radio for sure, man.
Me too.
The psychopath, like, should he ever play high school sports again?
At high school, no, he's a senior anyway. He's donezo.
Well, should he ever... Well, he's like a big-time wrestler, though. Wrestling season, you should know from your cauliflower ear experience.
Yeah, no, I know.
Wrestling season's in the winter, right?
And I got, what's that? I got ringworm on my fucking forearm. I didn't get laid for like 26 hours. It's crazy. Here's the deal. The reffing back then. Okay, well, no, we were talking about the football kid. Yeah. Okay, fine. We talked about this on the radio. It gets confusing with us when we're on the radio every goddamn day. Do we talk about it on the podcast? Okay, so that kid in Texas. Okay, we talked about this.
Was he in Texas?
Whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. Okay, it doesn't fucking matter. I've done crazy shit.
Never done that.
I've done crazy shit. I want to knock guys out. I want to fucking get you. Like, I want to fucking hurt you kind of thing.
Like where you just uncontrollable rage inside, right?
Yes. And you still have to control it because you know you could let it out in your own way on the ice because there's fighting and it was fine. And so, but in all my psycho, crazy, drug addiction days where my brain wasn't there, I never, ever thought to do that to anyone.
That point.
Not even close.
So to set it up, for those who didn't see the video, you can see it all over social media. He was ejected from the game, so when the referee made the call that he's been ejected, he just beelines it towards the referee and just levels him. And this guy, he's a big boy too. He looked about 300 pounds.
Oh, he didn't look like a fucking.
He looked like
a college kid. He looked like Alabama's fucking front defensive line.
Oh my God!
And then he rocks this guy. Probably concusses his fucking ass. Like these refs are they're 60 years old. They take shit from parents, from coaches, from everybody, from players, and this guy gets buckled by this psycho because you can't control your shit. Fuck you.
Oh, that's your message to him.
Yeah, fuck you.
Okay,
goddamn right. Did I see any interview with him? Did he apologize to anybody yet?
We've talked about this in the past. Would you give this guy a second chance?
Probably, Andy.
Would you?
Probably would.
But you got to hear his story.
Thank you.
What were you thinking?
Where are you at, homie? Why don't you sit down with us and fucking talk about it? Like, that's what I'd have to do.
How do we know you're not going to do that again?
Are
you okay? Do you have problems? Do you need professional help?
Thank you.
Because he does.
Can you control yourself at home? Your girlfriend was watching. How's your relationship with her?
Yeah.
Seriously.
What are you going to do when things don't go your way and you're not playing? Are you going to attack my coach?
Well, you going to attack your girl? What if she has kids and you fucking...
Right.
Are you that crazy?
Right. What is wrong with you?
You fucking
Can we interview your parents too?
There it is.
What's wrong with the parents?
What's your daddy doing? Did your dad talk to you? Did your dad beat the fuck out of you after that, by the way? Probably not, because you can't do that anymore. But the point is your dad sit your ass down and say, what the fuck? 10 grand I got to pay for one. And for two... Like, what are you doing?
What's the 10 grand for?
Bail.
Oh, he got arrested.
Fucking A.
Did he?
Yes.
I didn't see that part.
10 grand, homie.
Did he get arrested?
Yes, he did.
Is there videotape of that?
No, because they're probably in the locker room and the cops came down and arrested him.
Wow.
Yeah, no, there is a picture of him.
Because a lot of people were saying he should be arrested.
Well, I think so. Andy, I do think so. Again, I would say I'm sitting your ass down and I need to talk to you.
Yeah.
And look at me. And I need to know your background. I need to know where you're at.
Even no matter what you tell me, I'm probably not comfortable reinstating you right now.
Right now,
we got to have 4 or 5 of these meetings.
Andy, you're right.
Before I know for sure, because what
I will give you a chance.
It's just, man, you've gone too far.
You're 18, Andy.
Like
you're
that's
18.
Nuts.
You're not 14.
And,
you're 18.
And you know what? I've seen kids yell at referees. I've seen professional athletes yell at referees. You just don't see it get to that point. And professional athletes and college athletes, when calls don't go their way, the game doesn't go their way, I mean, they are absolutely
psychos,
enraged inside, and they still find a way to keep it together. I worry about referees.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm surprised it doesn't happen.
Let me ask you a question as a coach.
Yeah.
As a coach. Well, for one, if Ty, when he starts playing, if he's mouthy on the bench,
I have no tolerance.
Andy, if I fucking see that from you, I will fucking. You already got your setup with him down in the basement. I'm happy about that.
Oh, what do you think of our new net?
I love it. That's just like I said. If somebody writes you a letter in 5 years when you sell that house and get the $1 million house and the more wealthy,
do you know
part
that's
of
a thing, by the way?
What?
So my brother-in-law and his wife, when they just bought their house, they wrote a letter.
Dude,
is that what it takes nowadays? So they didn't get the house.
They're not cute enough then.
They accepted like an offer from another couple, but their real estate agent got some information that the couple that they accepted the offer from were just super high maintenance, asking for this and that, and they kind of wanted to get out of that and get away from there. And and the suggestion was made: write a letter and see what happens. They wrote the letter, then all of a sudden they wanted the house. Now they wanted them to buy it.
I mean, Andy, if you wrote me a letter and you put all your kids and the wife into it with the doggy.
Did you put pictures?
Oh, I just said that.
Which pictures? Which pictures?
Of Kate and I in Nottingham.
I can only imagine what picture.
The cutest, most adorable. I look like a fucking.
In front of the Eiffel Tower?
I look like a fucking mutant, of course. But I'm like, hey.
Are you throwing money into the Seine River?
I'm making it rain to all my fucking Nottingham fans. No, they're carrying us around like a fucking pharaoh. No, that doesn't matter. We did send them pictures. But I was going to ask you, though. We'll go all over the place, and we got to go to our live reads here, but I don't give a shit. If you're fucking coaching Andy and you kids on the team and they fucking beak at the ref and you don't do shit about it, like right away, put your fucking, what'd you say? Shut, you haven't even played good enough. You're not good enough to fucking bitch at the refs.
No, that happens.
Shut the fuck. Do you do
happens.
that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, I hope so, man.
Sit your ass on the bench. You're
done.
done.
Shut the fuck
up.
The ref's looking at you as a little 14-year-old kid. You haven't done shit yet, and you're bitching at him.
No, man. You see kids do that all the time. You see kids.
I ain't playing that game. I hope you put
mouthy
your
with
foot
the refs.
I'm going to actually do my research on you. I hope you put your foot down.
No, it's true.
Okay.
It's true. But anyway, so getting back to what we were saying, thoughts are with Doug Armstrong and his family,
right.
man. You know, that's a tough situation to go through.
It is.
All right, Ken.
A long time.
Ken Hitchcock on this edition of the Cam and Strick podcast. And look, man, wanted to get Hitch on.
Love him, dude.
And, you know, we know Hitch so well. I would have loved nothing more than to have him sit next to us for the interview because I think it could have been even taken to another level. But he was great, man. Listen, his story, and I mean this, you will not ever in the history of hockey, in my opinion, find a story like his ever. Ever. Especially find a guy who lasts as long as he did and have much success where whatever. He's like third in the history of coaching and wins. But when you're working at a sporting goods store, you don't even play really at any level. I know when he played when he was a little kid.
Yeah, but he got obsessed with it.
He got obsessed with it. But to get that opportunity and then to have success and continue to move on to the next level and get to the NHL where you become just a fixture in the league and truly one of the most innovative, one of the best coaches of this era. When you start working in a sporting goods store without any playing background, man, I just don't see that happening ever again.
I do.
You do?
Hell yeah. I think I just don't, it's nice to be able to play the game.
This wasn't the era of like analytics and all that.
No, I know.
Man.
And the computer, you could, but I think nowadays, man, like if you could be obsessed with a game,
who's going to give someone that opportunity?
Well, you're a rink rat all day. You meet different people. Where are you at right now? Who the fuck did you know when you were growing up? What did you meet? Look what you did.
I'm not coaching in the NHL.
Yeah, but where you're at right now, think about that. And I'm just saying though, like you wrote your fucking story. Like he's there all the time. He met the right guy. He proved himself. Then he got there. And then you're better, and you show. And then he was able to be a leader at a AAA age.
True.
Fucking coaching these, just like I'm talking to you.
And he has a ton of success winning too.
Timeout. Do you think Ken Hitchcock, if a kid on his AAA team, when they won 600 games and they lost 62 games, they won, his record was like 600. Do you think one of those little fucking kids who were probably tougher than dog shit were chirping the refs? He didn't put his foot down?
No, but those Western Canadians, they know better.
Oh, fuck, are they tougher than dog shit?
They know better. But his stories are amazing, man. But listen, I just give the credit to the people who gave him an opportunity.
Yeah, dude. Well,
who gave him a chance.
He proved himself.
And truly believed that he could do it. And he proved everybody right. Every opportunity he got, whether it was coaching in junior, coaching, in the old IHL,
coaching Twister, and
I know,
God,
being an assistant coach though at the NHL level, then going down to the IHL, then getting your chance to be a head coach, and then winning a Stanley Cup, man,
and then
continuing to have success and overcome the weight issues he had. And again, I mean this, like for someone to give him that opportunity, everyone judges everything nowadays, you know. And when you have weight problems and whatever, and you're still getting a chance, whoever gave him that first chance, man, that guy belongs in like the Kamloops Hall of Fame or something.
And I'll tell you this, like even walking into a locker room and having that insecurity of having a weight problem and then trying to be your hierarchy to guys making a ton of money, like it's tough. And he figured it out. He's a leader. He knows how to motivate people, and he figured that aspect out, and he has a skill set of doing that. And it worked, man. Yeah. And it worked.
Yeah. And he's a great guy too, man. And he's patient.
When he came on our podcast, he didn't have to.
Came on our podcast, but
he's scared of me.
But he's patient. You know, when he left St. Louis, the night before he left to go back to Dallas, he took my wife and I out to dinner the night before he left St. Louis. And listen, I learned a lot from Hitch. I learned a lot from all the coaches that I've covered. You know, from Joel Quimble to Andy Murray to all these guys. You go down the line. And Hitch. And it's amazing when you get the opportunity, Cam, to pick their brain, kind of learn more and more about the game, how they see the game, how they view individuals, how they see situational play, all that stuff, man. He's very intelligent in terms of how he sees the game. And so, I mean, at the end of the day, this guy's going to go into the Hall of Fame. He'll always be considered a legend, one of the all-time legends in the history of coaching. And so you can't take it for granted to have that opportunity to be around these guys every day.
At the end of the day, he's got a ton of money, and he's sitting in Kelowna and in L.A. No,
Palm Springs.
He's kicking his feet up. And then he travels up to Kelowna, which is so beautiful. And he's like, then he calls, and still is involved with hockey.
I know.
He does whatever the hell he wants, and he deserves it.
Yeah.
He's got the best life going for what he wants.
Yeah.
And if he wants to work and not travel, he could do whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm. He had a little medical scare recently, but he's doing good now, man. And
because you called him today.
And he's doing great, actually. And he's been able to keep the weight down and
looks good.
Do some. You know, he got into like CrossFit and some of that stuff when he first
Hitch.
came to St. Louis.
Okay, Hitch.
Okay.
How's your back doing?
Yeah, I know.
Lord.
I know.
Professional weightlifters.
I know.
I get it. I think you probably do that shit, Andy, and this was fine.
CrossFit?
You look like a CrossFit guy.
I don't do CrossFit. I think CrossFit's an injury waiting to happen. Isn't it?
You're a professional
workout. Is your body
guy.
meant to do that?
I don't know. Look,
they do like crazy shit.
If your body looks good and you're doing CrossFit, then damn right.
Well, then I'm doing CrossFit.
I play hockey and I do push-ups and shit, and I look pretty jacked.
How many push-ups?
I could do 100 right now.
Right now?
Straight.
At once?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I know.
Really?
I swear to God I could.
I don't think that's good for you to do
Probably not.
No.
I'm just letting you know, if you said, I bet you fucking hit your boobs.
You're damaging your muscles.
Probably.
Like, you can just do 20.
Chest is blowing up.
But do 20.
No, but you want to get to. I like to do 300, so I'll do 50 at a time for the most part.
Okay,
I just
there
hit
you
50.
go. There you go.
But I can do.
You going all the way down?
Yeah.
Don't be cheating.
Yeah. Coming from you? What?
we could have a competition.
Of what?
We could have a push-up competition.
Me and you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we film it, please?
Yeah, we'll film that.
Let's have a push-up competition, skating competition.
See how that goes. All right. Listen, there is no competition when it comes to the best protection you have out there in the auto business. CarShield and carshield.com.
When's that video coming out?
Soon. Very soon. Mention the promo code CAM. You're going to save 10%. 800-857-2481. carshield.com. Now structure the plan the way that you want it, not the way that somebody else wants it. Do it the way that you want it. You want a long-term plan? Do it. Short-term plan, that works too. Just don't be stuck with the bill.
Yeah, exactly.
When you have thousands of dollars in repairs, your computer goes out, something else goes out in your car, unexpected. You want to buy little Susie and Johnny something nice for the birthday or the holidays coming up?
Do I got kids?
I don't know, but now you can't.
Did Windsor call you?
You can't do it because of you just spent all your money on your car. Well, you can because this costs what?
No,
Plans start at $99 a month. Yeah, you spend it all on your house.
Shit.
Get that protection through CarShield. CarShield.com, baby. Mention the promo code CAM. As embarrassing as that is, you'll save 10%.
It's pretty sexy, to be honest.
You'll save 10%, and it's a good little discount. All right, how about Bud Light Seltzer? All the flavors.
Oh,
black cherry, strawberry, lemon, lime, and mango.
Mango.
We got the cranberry going today. All the different flavors you can find in the ugly Christmas sweater packs. They've got the pineapple, the grapefruit, cranberry.
Christmas
in addition
is
to all
coming.
The great original flavors. We're going to have our Cam and Strick cocktail recipes, by the way, with Bud Light Seltzer.
Oh, they're going to.
I'm waiting for you to put some of those together. The cranberry.
We're calling it scissor.
The cranberry will be pretty good, too, so check that out. We're also keeping it handsome, and we're doing it at all times, man. KeepItHandsome.com. Been talking to Mirko over the weekend. Got some great stuff happening. Some new Fight Ugly hoodies that we're putting together as well. You're going to see those very soon. KeepItHandsome.com. You can also buy them on Amazon. In case you didn't know, you can go to Amazon and get your Fight Ugly hoodies.
Yeah.
KeepItHandsome.com. Fight Ugly. We're fighting the ugly. We're fighting the bullies that exist out there. Portion of the proceeds go back to the Montreal Resource Center too.
Yeah. So anyway, speaking of bullies, we talked about that kid in high school that ran over the ref. Like, that's a bully tactic right there. Like, he just looks like a bully. Now, I'd like to sit down and talk to some of these guys. And I know we talk about bullies, but some of these bullies when we were young, man, it's like the dude that pissed over me in the fucking bathroom, who we went toe to toe. He still kicked my ass. Like, he's actually turned out to be a good dude. His dad wasn't there. Like, there's shit that goes down and you don't know how to react and you're fucking, So we get it all, but we're helping it out. We understand. I'm getting a lot of messages from people in the workplace bullying. Like, fuck, man. It's to a point where I read the whole thing, guys, and I'm like, I need to call you. And it's so hard for me to have any sort of say in what happens at work. But anyway, messages are open. Check it out, guys. And we're raising money just to help it out. We've all been through it. The only one guy that hasn't been through it is Andy. And it's the most bizarre damn thing in the world because
no, I've been through it. I've been through it.
I have to try not to bully you right now.
I've been through it professionally.
I
didn't even know it.
You didn't even know it.
I didn't even know it. I'm like,
I think they felt sorry for you in high school, but professionally,
that's what bullying is.
You did. No, I saw that.
Like,
firsthand.
No one peed on me like you. I didn't deal with any.
But
of
now
that.
I like that, Andy. So I don't mind it anymore. So it wasn't really bully tactics. Fuck. Look, if your kid's getting pissed on in the bathroom, like, you
wouldn't like that. You wouldn't like that.
My dad almost fucking lost his mind.
Well,
and then we had the kid out 2 weeks later, and he
had him out to your house.
Had him out to our house.
Raven had an influence on you.
He's
like
no 48 years old.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. But no, there's bullying at the workplace. You don't even know you had no
Especially
idea.
women, dude.
And you're like, oh, that's the way.
Women.
That's what it is.
I could see women.
So we fight the ugly in the workplace too.
Andy, imagine your wife at the workplace. Your wife or my wife. Mm-hmm. She's working somewhere and some fucking creep is creeping her. Oh, yeah. Andy, God. Oh, Lord. Like, I don't give a fuck if you flirt with my wife at the bar. If you wheel my wife away from me at the bar, I'm fun to shake your hand because I'm like, damn, you're a wheel. Like, you're wheeling her away from me. Like, Jesus, what do you got going? But if you're creeping her out the workplace, oh, God, dude. I'll get the whole city on your fucking ass. You're crazy. You don't do that shit.
And well, you know where that doesn't happen is at Bellman and Bellman.com.
There that's what I'm saying, dude.
Because it doesn't happen there. There's no creeps selling you a car there. They got the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram on one side of the street in Troy, Missouri. Cross the road, you got the Cadillac, the Buick, the GMC, and you've got the best salespeople anywhere in the country.
It helps.
It does help.
I know, man. Your wife could go buy a car and go by herself. Like,
and no problem.
No problems. I'm swinging dicks. Coming, hey, man, you should be. No, you fucking didn't do anything.
You used to do what?
Fucking beat your fucking husband up. I'm tougher your husband.
Who are you?
Who is that girl? I know you're. I smacked his ass.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Cam Jansen?
He don't do shit. Okay?
I was a starting fullback. He was on the bench.
I used to beat him up in hockey. What the fuck are you talking about? Creep my broad out, please. Get away.
You won't find that. You won't find that there. Our boy Dan Bellman. He knows what's up.
Yeah, hockey guy, man.
He is a hockey guy.
Dude. Awesome dude.
He's got
awesome
great
family.
deals. They want to buy your car too. You have a used car just sitting there. You're like, what do I do with this thing? They'll pay good money for it.
Shit, yeah.
You'll turn those things into some beautiful new wheels to drive off the lot in style.
Yeah, go to the Grand Tetons and
the way you
shit
deserve
like that,
it,
man. Get that dually if you want, just like fucking Yellowstone.
If they won't give you the price you want, can you write a note?
Hey,
I wonder
can
you write a note to get the car that you want for the price you want? Can
if I write
you do
a note
it?
and put a picture of Kate, I'm good to go with anything, homie.
Are you just gonna start writing notes
like it's just
all
like
the time?
Kate, write me a note. I'm just gonna give it to everybody, and then put your picture on it.
Can you mention that we are adding sponsors? We're adding advertisers. Can you mention? You wanted to talk about that earlier.
Well, I just look. That fuels us, guys. Like, honestly, guys and girls, I should say. That fuels us. Like, we have to have that. I mean, this costs money. We pay people out. We want to build this thing up. Everything that, all the sponsors we do have, we collect that money and we spend it on the podcast. I mean, so we got inventory. We got great sponsors. But if you want to be a part of that, I know things are tough right now, though, Andy. Like coronavirus, things like that. Everything's still great. We understand the situations. But the more sponsors we have, the more we can fuel this damn thing and build it up and build it up and build it up. And that's exactly what we want to do. We want to entertain you guys forever. We want to do this for as long as we can.
Cam wants to do this forever.
I do. I want to do podcasts forever.
We do too.
I want to sit in my basement or sit on a dock and just do this and just entertain you guys forever. We're going to be doing radio. What's the fucking difference? Mm-hmm. So anyway, and you're dealing with us guys, by the way, as a sponsor, just so you guys know. If you look at all the charts, we're number 2 in front of everybody else If you look who's kind of owning them, you see Barstool, you see TSN, you see all kinds of shit. And when you see ours, it says someone else. Well, that someone else is Andy and I. So when you call us as a company, you're talking to us. You're Zoom calling us. I might have a chew in my mouth. I might look kind of shitty because I had 2 bottles of wine the night before.
Maybe.
But you're fucking staring at us.
You might not have showered.
I do that. I smack myself around like, wake up, Cam. Zoom call. So you're dealing with us, and that's a big deal to a lot of people, just so you know.
All right. We had to get that message out.
I'm just letting you know.
All right, Ken Hitchcock, the long-awaited interview. Great stuff with Hitch, the future Hall of Famer, with us here on episode 97. Hey, what are you doing up in like the mountains? Are you skiing every day? Like Hitch, what are you? Are you at the spa? Are you in the?
No, I live in the Palm Springs area. So I play golf, hit balls, hang at the golf course every day. So I'm enjoying sunshine. Every day is like Groundhog Day. It's 50 in the morning and 75 during the day. It's perfect.
God,
Cam doesn't know what Groundhog Day means, by the way. Can you tell him what that means?
I saw the movie Hitch. We're all good.
Hey,
Bill Murray.
But but sometimes you're up in Kelowna though too, right? You hang out up there, then you go back down south. Like, what determines if you're up north or down south?
You know what? I leave here when it gets too hot. So, the reason I based out of here as a U.S. base was that until COVID hit, there was direct flights to Calgary, Edmonton, and Vancouver every day, twice a day. So it was really easy. I could be in Edmonton, even though I'm in Southern California, I could be in Edmonton in 3.5 hours. And so it was very easy for me to get around here. And the flights were great. It was WestJet and they were great, but it's kind of changed. It's all changed right now. So I stay in Kelowna until it's too cold to golf or do outside walking, and then I come down here. So I'm probably 7 months here and 5 months in Kelowna.
See, Andy, that's the best of the best right there.
I
Southern
know.
California, and in Kelowna, I played the Memorial Cup in Kelowna. And even in Kelowna, though, Hitch, so you're in that valley. You're on is it Okanaga Lake? Like, beautiful lake. A bunch of the guys that played in the NHL live out there. But you're just in this valley, but it doesn't get that cold, does it?
No. You know, during the winter, it's very gray. But the summer, once May comes around, then you're dealing in terrific temperatures, and June, July, and August and September are just perfect.
So listen, I got to admit, like at one point in time, I thought, okay, Ken Hitchcock, he is never going to stop coaching. Like, he's a lifer. He loves to coach. I don't know how he's ever going to get away from it. So in a way, listen, we all miss hockey right now, Hitch, and we've got, so much downtime with no season. But is this good for you to maybe help you kind of ease your way into no longer being behind a bench and coaching in the NHL, considering how long you've been doing it?
No. No, not at all. I listen. Once you sign up to be a coach, you're a coach for life, and I'm going to consider myself to be a coach for life. It doesn't mean that I got to coach behind a bench all the time, but I love going on these Zoom calls with other coaches. I love going on the coaches cafes. I love going on Zoom calls with we own the American League team in Bakersfield. I'm on with those guys on a weekly basis. I'm on with the junior team. I'm on with the NHL guys. So I mean, I feel like I'm coaching coaches and I'm really enjoying it. There's a part of me that says, why not go back? But then the wake up side of me says, listen, you really want to go through this grind again. And Andy, it's not the part I miss is, and Cam, the part I miss is I really miss the interaction with the players and the other coaches and management. I miss that dearly. But then I start thinking, do I want to wake up every morning and have to look outside my hotel room door to know what room I'm in? And do I want to get onto that grind again? And that's when I kind of wake up and say, I did that for a very long time, and I just don't know if I could do that again.
Well, can you do half of that? Like, can you explain that? Do you, when hockey is going on, are you watching every single game? Sometimes you get bored, you're looking over the beautiful ocean, maybe there's a fire going on, and you're just hanging out, you're kicking your feet up, but you're like, you know what, I'm gonna watch a game from 2 months ago and just recap what's going on, just so I have information, so when I do a Zoom call, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Are you still into it that much?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm into it. I'm I'm watching either I'm learning every day. I'm either watching. I'm involved in Zoom calls with other coaches, or I'm involved in putting together some type of technical package, or I'm trying to understand a technical package, or I'm listening to podcasts or Zoom casts that are really educational for me, like say with a guy like Peter Crone on psychological parts of athletes and things like that. So I'm trying to I have a goal that I want to learn something new every day. And I spend at least 2 or 3 hours a day on doing that every day. And I enjoy it. I love it. I stay in constant contact, I would say, with a third or half the coaches in the NHL on a regular basis. And I've got my close friends, obviously, that I stay in touch weekly with. But I'm very much in tune with what's going on and try to stay in tune with the learning side of things on a regular basis.
Yeah, Peter Crone's, his subscribers just went up. I mean,
no doubt.
People are like Googling him. Who is Peter Crone, the psychologist? But you mentioned the a third of the league or half of the league, the head coaches you talk to. Who are the guys you talk to the most, Hitch? Like, who are your closest friends that are still in the game, or is it guys that maybe are recently out of the game, the Babcocks of the world?
Well, Mike and I stay in touch on a regular basis, but I talk all the time to Barry Trotz. I talk all the time to Craig Berube. I stay in constant contact. I'm in constant contact with Dave Tippett. I stay involved, with Travis Green and those guys. And I stay in touch with a lot of guys on a regular basis or semi-regular basis. And when we went and did this Coaches Cafe, it really enhanced the opportunity for me to meet with college coaches, with the U.S. Junior League coaches, with major junior coaches, guys that some of these guys had even played for me. But I've rekindled relationships with a lot of college guys that, whether it's Guy Godowski or Brad Berry or Mel Pearson or these guys, I've been able to stay in touch with these guys, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it because one thing about it, guys, is NHL's not on the cutting edge of hockey. We're on the wait and see part of hockey. The cutting edge is in college or in junior. And so when I feel like every time I talk to these guys or listen to some of their ideas, I'm really learning. And then we sit on it for a couple of years before we implicate or imprint it in what we're doing. And so I feel like I'm way ahead of people because I'm able to talk and learn from these guys.
So what would your dream job be? And I know the travel is so hard. Like when I retired, I'm like, oh God, I don't want to be on a plane anymore. Like, so that part I understand, but what would your dream job be? Just like the mentor coaches? Like,
you want to host Jeopardy?
Like, what do you want to do? Host a podcast with a Cam and Strick podcast? Like, what do you want to do?
I'm doing it now. I love coaching coaches. And whether it's involved in the NHL Coaches Association or our own organization, like I'm lucky. We've got a junior team in Edmonton that I'm talking to those coaches on a regular basis. I've got the NHL and I'm talking to those guys on a regular basis, and I've got the American Hockey League. I love what I'm doing, but I love coaching coaches. I love helping guys through problems. I love walking guys through issues, or I've done Zoom calls, probably 6 or 7 of them with the players on different teams, like not NHL, but in major junior and stuff like that, or minor hockey. I've spoken to all kinds of minor hockey organizations as their elite coaches on team building, on leadership, on organizing practices. I love doing that stuff, and I feel like I'm helping. I feel like that's the thing that I really missed as a coach, is that once you're a coach, you feel like you have an obligation to help people, and I feel like I'm fulfilling that now and really enjoying it.
Yeah, no, I know you do. I know, and you're being so sincere and genuine when you say that, because I know that you do. But I always say this about you, Hitch. Like, you have a story and a background that we'll probably never see again in head coaching in the National Hockey League. I mean, you didn't play at a high level. You didn't play in the National Hockey League. And, you're working at a sporting goods store in Edmonton, and then you get an opportunity to coach in the Western Hockey League, and then you just keep winning and winning and winning, and then you get to the mountaintop. You win a Stanley Cup in the NHL. But from where it started, I want to know about your background, just growing up in the Edmonton area, Hitch. What was life like you as a kid?
You know what, guys? It was amazing because since the day I can remember, I tell people this story. I met Gordie Howe when I was 4 years old. It was in 1955 I met Gordie Howe. And the reason I met him is that my father worked for Imperial Oil. And God bless him, he died when I was 14 years old. But he worked for Imperial Oil. But during that time, my father managed and caretaked 2 outdoor arenas. And so I lived from age 4 on. I lived at the rink from the time school ended until my dad flooded after the last practice. I did my homework until I was 14 years of age. So for 10 years, I lived at the rink. I would go to the rink right after school, and we lived in 2 communities, Holyrood and Otwell. And my dad was the caretaker of both facilities. When we moved from Holyrood to Otwell, he took over the Otwell facility. So every day from grade 1 until the end of middle school, I would go to the rink after school, and I would stay there until the lights were turned off. I helped my dad flood the rinks. We scraped them. I watched him run practices. He coached at times both teams, midget and juvenile teams. And so I lived at the rink since the day I can remember. And then my dad got involved in the Red Wings organization. He got involved in helping coach what was the Junior B Red Wings. And the feeder system for the Detroit Red Wings was Junior B Red Wings were 16, 17, and 18-year-olds. The Edmonton Oil Kings were 19 to 21. And then there was a pro team called the Edmonton Flyers, which fed the Red Wings. And then every fall, the Red Wing players would barnstorm and come out, and they would hold training camp in Edmonton. And they would so I was able to watch the Detroit Red Wings and the Edmonton Flyers and everybody practice and play from age 7 or 8 on. And so I've literally lived at the rink. And then it was the same when I went to work for the sporting goods store. I felt like I didn't play. I played high level of minor hockey, but I never played professional hockey. So I felt I needed to learn everything I could about the game. So for my 12 years at United Cycle, every lunch break, I would drive about 10 minutes to the University of Alberta, and I watched the Golden Bears practice. Mm-hmm. And so I was the only guy sitting in the stands watching their practices for 12 years. And I would be there at least 3-4 times a week. And then I was able to, the coaching staff would invite me if we weren't, when I started coaching midget at that time, and we weren't playing on either a Friday or Saturday night, the coaches would invite me down after the game, and we'd talk about what happened during the game. So I've lived at a rink. I've lived at an outdoor rink. I've helped scrape and flood rinks since I was 5. And so I'm the definition of a rink rat. And quite frankly, I've loved every minute of it.
The Cam and Strick podcast is brought to you by CarShield. You know, nothing more frustrating, Cam, than when that engine light comes on and you know right off the bat you're going to have to spend thousands of dollars to repair your vehicle. Call 800-857-2481. Mention the promo code CAM or visit carshield.com and use the code CAM to save 10%. Yeah. That's carshield.com. A deductible may apply. Save yourself money. Sign up and get your coverage now with carshield.com. Now back to the interview.
Yeah, no, sounds like you absolutely were, and you kind of have to be that way if you want to really know the game. You got to watch as much as you can, but you're a great mentor when you were young too. Like when you first started coaching, and Andy didn't bring this up, and I did my world-class research, of course. But your 10-year stint coaching AAA, I mean, you were like 575 and 69. So you had confidence. You're coaching AAA kids. How'd you build that I'm a mentor, listen to me kind of attitude and that confidence, because, you know, like you kind of have to build that yourself. Like, how'd you start doing that even with the AAA kids?
Well, what happened to me was I was cocky and belligerent when I started as a coach. And then a guy named Phil Clark, who was a lawyer, a big time lawyer in Edmonton, became the manager of the team. And he gave it to me one day on the way I was treating people and dealing with the media and everything. And he said, listen, you need to change. He said, you have an obligation to educate people, and you're not using this obligation properly. You're arguing with people. You're defensive. Your job is to teach people, because you have knowledge from what you've been able to access by being involved with the university team and being able to observe that. You have intimate knowledge that people crave. You've got to educate people. And it really changed my attitude, Cam. And it's the way I've tried to carry myself, is that I have an obligation to tell people what happened, but also educate them on why it happened. And I learned that from a guy named Phil Clark. And he was the manager for our team for about 7 or 8 years, and really taught me how to talk to people that wanted to understand the game or know about it. And then what happened when I was coaching midget, the program of excellence took off in Canada, all the coaching communities that go on now. And I was lucky because there was a core group of coaches: Dave King, Claire Drake, George Kingston, the late and great Wayne Fleming. They all administered that program. So every summer, I never took a vacation when I worked at United Cycle. Every summer I would go to these coaching clinics, and I learned how to speak to people and how to produce technical programs and stuff by going to these clinics all summer. So if I had 3 weeks vacation, I took them all by going to these coaching clinics. I never ever did go on a holiday the whole time I was working.
Damn.
So you get to the Western Hockey League. Like, how did you get the job? Like, in Kamloops, did you apply? Did you know somebody? Like, how did you land there?
Well, you know what was funny, because I came back from the national championships that year in 1984 as soon as they were over. And I don't know why I felt that way, because I turned down major junior jobs 2 years in a row previous to that. But I felt like I have this comfortable life. I'm working at United Cycle. I've got a great job. I'm coaching midget hockey. At that time, I was racing snowmobiles, oval racing, and I was having the time of my life. And I felt like I needed another challenge. And so the job with the Kamloops Blazers, they were called the Kamloops Oilers, and they were owned by the Edmonton Oilers. But the Oilers sold them to the community. So there was an opening. Bill LaForge was the coach, and he had got the job in Vancouver with the Canucks. And so there was a coaching opening. And so one of the scouts told me, you should apply. You might have a chance to get it. So I did. And I ended up getting the job. And I tell people, I think I got the job because I came in so cheap. They say, no, that's not true. You had qualities that we like. But I felt like I cheat myself out so bad that I made it worth their while to hire me, because they didn't have to pay me very much. But I ended up getting the job, and it was 6 years of nothing but championship. We were either in the conference final or the Western Hockey League final every year, and it felt like it was just a continuation for me of what we were doing in midget. We were just winning all the time, and I don't want to say this, but it felt almost easy because we had such a good program, and we were so well. We had so many great scouts that we seemed to get a scoop on everybody, on the players, and we had all this knowledge on players because our scouting program was so massive that it seemed like we had this abundance of players all the time, And what I learned later is coaching isn't easy, but it felt easy for those 6 years in Kamloops.
Okay, so you're in Kamloops. You're in the Western Hockey League coaching in the early 80s, mid 80s, whatever it is. How tough was that league? I don't think people understand this, Hitch. Not to mention you have 20-hour bus rides, which are just god-awful. But you got 3 or 4 killers on every single team. You got superstars on that team. Like, explain the WHL in the mid-early 80s.
Well, here's the best way to explain it. My first training camp, there was 125 guys trying out. And in that camp was Tony Twist.
Oh, God.
Craig Berube. Oh. Stu Grimson. Rudy Postchek. And the toughest of them all was a guy named Mark Kachowski, who was a lightweight, but Chow ended up playing in Pittsburgh, but Chow was tough and beyond belief. We had a training camp. A week into training camp, our farm club was in a small northern town called Williams Lake. And down from Williams Lake came this yellow school bus with 15 players on it. And on that bus was Tony Twist, Craig Berube, Rudy Postchek. And it was, you got to remember, I've coached 12 years of midget hockey, and in 12 years I've been involved in one fight. And all of a sudden I've got this massive camp where it's just out of control. And the opening for me was, we went and played the first exhibition game, and I had 20 players. 11 minutes into the game, it was me and the spare goalie. And whoever was left on the ice, that was it. And because at that time, if you fought an exhibition, you got kicked out. And we had such an abundance of players. Stu Grimson ended up going to Regina. We traded Tony Twist to Saskatoon. We ended up keeping Mark Kachowski. We had Dave Marcinishin, who was tough. Rudy Postchek, who was tough. We had enough toughness. Craig Berube ended up going to New Westminster. Craig came back later and played for me. But when you played exhibition games, you brought 30 players to the exhibition game. And the reason you brought 30 players was you counted the other team's tough guys. And there were times that you played exhibition games where you dressed 20, you put them on the ice for warm-up, but if you saw you were outnumbered, you took 3 out and put 3 more who were sitting in the locker room if you didn't think you had enough toughness.
Oh,
and
my God.
It was the biggest eye-opener to me in my life, because when you talk about getting run out of the rink, first of all, some of the buildings were so intimidating because the fans were right on top of you, and they were really small barns.
Oh, yeah.
And you better know that you got as much toughness, because you could literally get run out of the building. And there were rinks like in Prince Albert, even our rink in Kamloops, in Seattle, and especially in New Westminster where Berube was. You had to really push guys off the bus to get them into the locker room, because some guys didn't want to go.
But didn't Twister's mom not like him fighting? Like, didn't she come and talk to you or something like that?
She didn't talk to me. She screamed at me. And, I didn't even know, because Tony had just finished playing midget hockey. I didn't know Tony could fight. And all of a sudden this 20-year-old was pushing him around. And Tony just laid a licking on this guy so bad. And then his mom came down and started giving it to me, because she thought I was allowing Tony to fight. And none of us even knew Tony could fight, because at that time Tony was a really, really good midget player, and he was a really good junior player. And that was the first time anybody knew he could fight. But it's funny, because after that fight during training camp, the whole league knew that there was a 16-year-old that was on the come now, and everybody better beware.
16 years old, too.
So who was tougher back then, though, between he and Berube? Like, Was one tougher than the other?
There were so many tough guys in the league that it almost made you cringe. I would say at that time, Prince Albert had a lot of the tough guys, and they had Dave Manson.
Oh,
They had Bomber.
God.
And there was a guy named Dahlman that was as tough and nasty as they could get. So to me, they had a great team, and they had one of the toughest teams ever in the Western Hockey League, and it was a place that it took a special piece of courage to go and just play in the building, let alone expect to win.
Especially after a 20-hour bus ride.
I know.
The whole time, Andy, if I was playing that league, I'm thinking about Twister for 20 hours, and then you have to deal with them.
Oh, my
but
God.
Hitch.
And Kosar and all
And
these
Kosar,
guys.
oh, my God. And Baumgartner throwing those lefts on you. Oh, God,
They're
Hitch.
all there. You know what? Like people laugh when I say this, but you know what was a typical road trip? Because there was the new highway between Kamloops and Vancouver is called the Coquihalla. My first 4 years in the league, there was no Coquihalla. So you had to go down Highway 1, which was a switchback highway. And so when we played on the road, we would play every second weekend on the road, and we would play 3 games in 3 nights. And we would start at 7 in the morning, and we would drive to Seattle, which took 7.5 hours. And maybe 8 hours total. And we would stop at a buffet on the way there, and that was our pregame meal. Then we would play in Seattle on Friday night. We would travel to Portland, which was 3 hours down the road, and we'd play in Portland always on Saturday night. That was the big night for Portland. And then on Sunday, we'd get on the bus and right after the game, and we would either go to Tri-Cities or to Spokane and play the third game. And we would play early and that was usually 6 to 7 hours. But we would play early in Tri-Cities or Spokane because we had to get to the border by midnight or the border was closed. So you had to play, and there were times that we had to run, take our skates off, run on the bus and change on the bus into our sweats because we needed to make that border crossing because we couldn't sit at the border. And then we would come back and make that midnight border crossing. We would get into Kamloops at 4:30 in the morning, and everybody had to be at school at 9 o'clock.
Oh. Half
then
of them probably missed it, by the way. Just so you know, Hitch. They didn't tell you.
That was junior hockey at that time. So we did that twice a month. And I couldn't travel 2.5 hours in a bus now, let alone going 8, 10, 12-hour.
Oh, my God.
I don't even like walking in my car, Hitch, to be completely honest with you. I'm a princess.
Hey, let's talk about the new Bud Light Seltzer.
Oh, yeah.
It's an easy-drinking hard seltzer that comes in 4 delicious fruit flavors. Black cherry, strawberry, lemon lime, and Cam's favorite, mango.
Oh,
With
mango.
only 100 calories, 5% alcohol, and less than a gram of sugar, you might as well have a few tonight or this weekend. Go to BudLight.com to buy Bud Light Seltzer online. Must be 21 years of age or older. Bud Light Seltzer. Unquestionably good.
Yeah.
Now, back to the interview.
But you bring up the dub and all that stuff and all the heavies cruising around, but you see some of these guys, and when I play Neil, like you see guys that put up numbers like, God, 130 points a year and crazy stuff like that. Like, who are some of the guys that you looked at when you coached or you coached with or coached against, and they put all these numbers up, but they just couldn't figure it out? I'm looking at a guy like Corey Locke and things like that. And as a coach, Hitch, why didn't some of these guys that absolutely dominated in a dub, which was like basically like a smaller version of the NHL with heavies cruising around, why didn't they make it? Like, what is your interpretation on that as a head coach?
Well, I look at a guy like Rob Brown, who set records that will never be broken in the Western Hockey League.
God, I was looking at his numbers today, Hitch.
Robbie Brown?
Oh, yeah. I mean, looking at his numbers today.
Yeah, and Rob was an exceptional player, tough as nails. And he scored 49 in the NHL. He just didn't have a long career in the NHL. I think a lot of it was that the NHL at that time was a power league Like, you needed to be the toughest guy in the world to be able to survive if you had skill. And it was a power game. A lot of the players that were skilled in the Western Hockey League when I was there would flourish in the NHL game now. But the NHL in the 90s was such a physical and size-oriented league that, you know, there was exceptional players like Theo Fleury or Sheldon Kennedy or these guys, Cliff Ronning, that were just so tough themselves that they could survive. But if you were a skilled guy and you came in the NHL, the players in the league did everything they could to try to push you out. Like you look at a guy like Mark Recchi. Mark played junior for us.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, it took Mark 2 years of playing junior just to get drafted, and it was in the 4th round or so. And Mark was as tough as they come, and he still had to spend time in the minors before he could get up to the NHL to be able to handle the tenacity and the size in the game at that time.
So when did you start thinking about the NHL? Like, when did the NHL start calling Ken Hitchcock, and when did you start thinking, okay, you know what? I can make a living out of this, a really good living, and I can get to the highest level. Like, I'm that good.
No bus rides.
I didn't want to go. I didn't want to leave Kamloops, but there was a fellow named Russ Farwell who was the general manager in Medicine Hat and Seattle. And Russ had become the general manager of the Philadelphia Flyers. And that was in 1990. And I'm in Philadelphia, and I really would like you to come and be part of our coaching staff. And that's the first time I ever thought of it. I never spent 1 second thinking about going to the NHL. And I look back, and it was the same feeling I have when I left work at United Cycle. I thought, I got to try this. I got to see if I can do this. And so I went and became part of Paul Holmgren's staff. So there was Craig Hartsburg, Paul Holmgren, and myself. We were the coaching staff in 90 to 93 of the Philadelphia Flyers. And it was the biggest eye-opener of my life. It was the biggest wake-up call of my life. And I think it made me a way better coach, but there was some real heartbreak. And I was around after the second year, we went on a real run at the end of the second year, almost made the playoffs. And then that was the year that we traded for Eric Lindros, and we gave up 8 players off our team. And my last year in 92, 93 was really a tough year because we had just dismantled our team. It was his first year in the league. He was early on as a 19-year-old, he was a dominant player already, but we just didn't have enough bodies. And so it was a real eye-opening experience and a humbling, because all I knew coaching was winning. I just took winning for granted. I thought that's all you do. You got a good enough team, you do the right stuff, you go and win. And then I saw these talented teams like Pittsburgh in their heyday and the New York Rangers and teams like that. And I thought to myself, man, there's a whole other level out here, and we're not even close to it in Philadelphia.
All right, so you end up going down to the International Hockey League. You're coaching in the Dallas Stars organization. When you get the call, I assume it's Bob Gainey who calls you, who offers you the job to come be the head coach of the Dallas Stars. Hitch, are you like, oh my God, this is happening? Like, who do you call to say, hey, I'm going to the NHL? Like, do you feel like a young player who's finally getting their first call up?
Well, what was interesting was that the guy that was responsible for Kalamazoo at that time was Doug Armstrong. And Doug was responsible for the players. Him and Les Jackson were responsible for the players in Kalamazoo, and Doug and Les and Craig Button were Bob's assistants. And Bob said to Craig and Les that he said, I can't do both jobs anymore. I'm going to have to shut down one of them. And he said, do you think Hitch is ready? And they said, we think he's ready. So I got a call. We came back off a road trip. We played a back-to-back game in Atlanta. I got a call that morning when we landed, and Bob said, you got to get here tonight because we play the next day against Detroit. So I went from Dallas, and I remember I hooked up a $600 phone bill. Remember when you had those phones in the plane, and it was really expensive, but you could use them. I spent the flight going from Detroit to Dallas, calling all the players and thanking them who were playing with me in Kalamazoo, and I arrived in Dallas the night before, and then the next day played Detroit, who were in their heyday, and I'm not sure to this day they even gave us the puck to play with, but that was it. It was like baptism by fire, because that time Bob was in the middle of dismantling the team, and we were going on a reload, and he traded quite a few players, got younger players in, and so we went from on the edge of the playoffs to right out. We were in last place, and then we went from last, and then the following year we were in first place, and he dismantled the team and brought in a lot of really good younger players, and then we brought up 5 guys from the minors, and those 5 guys that were playing for me became core players on the team, and we took off.
I never saw anyone use those phones, by the way. I didn't think anybody used them, Hitch. I thought they just sat there. I thought they were decoration. Yeah. Okay.
Man, were they expensive?
Who paid that bill for you?
I paid the bill myself.
Of course he did. What was it like juggling the? Okay, so you know you're assistant coach and you're dealing with NHL players now, but now you're the big dog and you got NHL guys and you got guys making money. Like, how do you juggle everything? Like, how do you present yourself when you walk into the locker room? So you have to have the somewhat fear aspect, but also the respect aspect of everything too. Like, how do you even do you stare at yourself in the mirror before you go in the locker room and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is my persona. I have to implement this, and I need these guys to respect me. How do you do that?
Well, I was lucky, Cam, in that I was there for 2 training camps, so I knew the players.
Okay.
And where there was a relationship. But I made a big mistake when I went there, and if not for Rick Wilson and Doug Jarvis, I don't know how long I would have been a head coach, because I was a firm believer in the Edmonton Oilers way of playing hockey, which was full court press, 2-1-2, full pinch, which is now accepted. But I was a big believer in playing a full court press game where you pinched and pressured and sent 2 on the puck every time. And I played that in Kalamazoo, and we were very effective. We had great runs, great teams in Kalamazoo, and the players really bought that. But you needed a certain type of player and a certain level of foot speed. I brought that system and I implemented it into Dallas. After the Detroit game, we had 3 days to practice, and I implemented that system in those 3 days, and we got killed. We couldn't play the system, and they both convinced me that we didn't have the personnel to play that way, and we needed to play a different way. And so we stayed there for most of the summer, and I stayed there to learn and reprogram myself on the Montreal Canadiens way of playing hockey. And basically a strong counterattack, 1-2-2 system. And I played that system the rest of my life. And, you know, I changed it at times, but we changed the way we played over the summer. We introduced it, and our team just completely took off, and we went on a great run for 5 or 6 years there.
Yeah, and you had all these superstar players. I mean, Holy ends up coming over. You had Madonna, Hatcher, Eddie Belfour, all these guys, Joe Nieuwendyk. Zubov. Like, who was the hardest to get along with, Hitch? Did anybody really push you to the edge where you couldn't see eye to eye with this player?
Not so much eye to eye, but it was a very outspoken group. Like, Holly wasn't the only guy that was outspoken. And quite frankly, Holly put us over the top. We needed attitude. We needed cockiness. And because there was the big 3. Colorado was there. Detroit was there. We couldn't beat Detroit. Detroit couldn't beat Colorado, and we could beat Colorado. So positioning for playoffs was everything. You know, when we played Detroit, we lost in the conference finals. In Game 7, we couldn't beat them. When we played Colorado, we beat them 2 years in a row to get to to get through the conference. So there were these three juggernauts staring each other down. I had a lot of players that had no problems giving me their opinion, whether it was Guy Carbonneau, Mike Keane, Brian Scrudland, Craig Ludwig. They had no problem giving the coach a hard time, and in a good way. But they were not afraid of a coach. They weren't intimidated by a coach, and they had their own strong opinions. So it was the first time in my life where I had to really listen to players, because they had more intimate knowledge on winning than I did. Ludwig and Keane were with Montreal. Carbonneau was with Montreal. They knew what it took to win. And if I was going to become a better coach, I better become a better listener. Those guys taught me how to listen. And then watching Hully, and I've told people this, he's one of the toughest players I've ever coached. Mental and physical toughness is beyond belief. I learned more from that team than I think I taught that team. And they taught me what it took to win. And when you talk about playing for each other and giving it up for each other and leaving each other in a good spot, I learned more from those guys than I could ever teach.
Time to talk about our boy Dan Bellman. Bellman.com. That's with two N's, not one. BEHLMANN.com. Hey, check out the new inventory. Check out the pre-owned vehicles. You looking for a Chrysler, a Dodge, a Jeep, a Ram? How about a Cadillac or a Buick GMC? All in Troy, Missouri. Get your new wheels in time for the winter. Now back to the interview.
Okay, so say you're going through a weird spell. The guys are bitching. You're pissed off, and you got to call the big boys into the office. Like, how do you set that up, Hitch? Like, are you like, okay, I'm a young guy. I got all these big boys coming in. They've already won, like you said, with Carbonneau and all those guys. They won in Montreal. I need to sit down with the big boys. How do I present myself? Like, are you nervous during that? Do you bring them in like, okay, tell me something? Like, how do you interact with these guys with a meeting like that?
Well, it's a funny story, but even before it got to that, they would tell me, they would say to me, I think it's time you got lost. I said, well, what do you mean? He said, we're getting tired of you. Like, you're wearing us out, and it's time you took a walk. So we're going to run our own practice. It's time for you to go for a walk. And I had a lot of mature players, but they had no problem telling me that I was overbearing, or the practice was too long, or the meetings were too long. You're boring the hell out of us. And it taught me about balance. And here's one thing. This came from Mike Keane. And he said to me, Hitch, we got no problems when we're on a roll that you run us hard. You run us till the gas goes out of the tank. But when we don't have anything in the tank, you either need to get lost, or either shorten up the meetings, shorten up the practices, shorten up the video sessions, or don't have any. But don't bring us in here and have longer meetings and do stuff like that, because you're just wearing us out even more. And then we're going to get mad at you. And when we get mad at you, we might shoot a puck at you.
And did that ever happen? Any pucks flying towards your head?
What do you do
Hitch?
at that point?
Not my head, but Matvechuk. It was always a game with Matvechuk. I'd be skating around the ice, and he'd see if he could knock me on my ass by shooting a puck along the ice hard as he can at my skate blade. And he got me a couple times. But
were you ever concerned though? Like, it never got to a point where a player tried to physically confront you, did they? Did they ever have to be like separated from you, Hitch?
Oh no. Yeah. And I have too much respect for the players. Like, I think that's the one thing I regret in my career, is I wished I would have told the players more why I'm doing things, because I just, every team I've coached, I believe in them deeply. I really trust them. I actually, quite frankly, admire them. I really admire people that play hockey, because I think it's the highest percentage of sports sacrifice that has to go on. And I really admired and really, at times, even worshiped the players, because I thought so much of them. And that's the one thing with me, is I push because I believe, and I tried as hard as I could to convince the players that's why I'm pushing. And I think I think the one thing I do regret is that I wished I would have done it earlier in my career and not waited till later in my career to do it.
All right, so let me ask you this, because something you told me before that's always stood out is that you didn't mind trying to get players to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Like, did you want them to like you? Was it important for you to be liked by your players, Hitch, or did you not give a shit? Like, what was your thoughts on that?
Well, you would always say, "Well, it doesn't matter," but it does matter. You want to be liked, but I think more than anything, you want to be respected.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes, to me, one of the things that I learned over time, and I really learned this watching college coaches coach, is that there are times that your team can really grow when you're in a conflict situation where not everybody's happy with the coach. They're a little bit grumbly at him. They don't like what he's doing. Those are the times you can really grow and get better quickly. And I was always comfortable when there was a little bit of conflict going on. I felt comfortable in my own skin. I wasn't coaching, looking over my shoulder, worrying about, I got to play this guy because he might be mad at me, or I never thought like that. I felt like if we were in a conflict stage, we could grow and we were going to get better, and we were going to get better because of it. And I didn't have a problem doing that stuff. I think that I came to a very clear understanding as a coach that I could get the players to places they couldn't get to themselves. I needed them, but in some cases they needed me. And we had to forge a partnership, and not all the partnership was hugs and kisses. Sometimes it had to be kicks. But I did it because I believed in the players. Like I said, I really, every team I coached, I really, really believed that we could do special things.
What about when you got to Philly? I mean, you had some strong personalities there.
God.
You had Roenick, you had LeClaire, some of these guys. I'm talking about when you went there as a head coach. Like, how was your relationship with those teams? And you had some younger players coming in, Hitch. The Jeff Carters, the Mike Richards, the Patrick Sharps. Like, did the game start changing when you got to Philly from when you were in Dallas, or was it kind of a continuation?
It changed because what was happening was the younger players were taking on prominent roles, and the veteran players were starting to lose their roles on the hockey club. And there was a balancing act. I came to Philadelphia. There was a lot of conflict for a couple of years previous, and there was a lot of anger on the team and a lot of bitterness on the team. And I had to get the team to focus that energy in a different direction. And it was hard because some of the older guys were losing their spots on the team, but we ended up really developing what I felt in 2004 was the best talented team I've ever coached in my life. And there was a lot of good teams. And I felt going into the playoffs with what Clarkie had done, he had traded for Malakoff. He had traded for a couple of other defensemen. We were loaded, and we were playing unbelievable. I thought going into the 2004 playoffs, nobody was going to beat us. And then to go from there, where I'm standing on the bench in Game 6 in Toronto in the semis, and I'm using Sami Kapanen as my go-to defenseman because of all the injuries, to me was heartbreaking. And it still bugs me to this day, you guys. It still bothers me that was a team that had everything, and the only thing that could stop us was injuries, and it stopped us. Yeah. And we ended up losing in Game 7 in the conference final and not taking anything away from Tampa because they had a great team, but there was nobody, when we were healthy, there was nobody that was going to beat us. We played in the Tampa series -5 defensemen, and it hurt us immensely.
I want to get down to St. Louis, but real quick, going back to Dallas, when you won the Cup, you had all these hardcore conversations with all these veteran players. Is there a moment you remember when you guys came together, player, coach, when guys just basically said thank you, whatever, yeah, where you just kind of had that embrace, Hitch, where you guys won together and it just kind of brought everybody together no matter how hard it was to get there?
It was in February of that year, and we lost a home game, and we came to the rink next day, and I was kind of not really happy sitting in my office, and the captains came in and said, Hitch, we got this. We know what to do. We know what to say. We know what's going on. You just stay out. We got this. We'll have our own meeting, and don't worry about it. And after that, emotionally, I just backed off, and they completely took the team over emotionally. And I'm not saying I knew we were going to win, because there were a lot of good teams. Like St. Louis had a great team. Colorado had a great team. There was a lot of great teams, but the players had taken control of the team, and they kept that control for a couple of years.
How was Belfour, Hitch? We had him on the pod. I mean, just such an interesting, intriguing personality to me. How was he to coach?
You didn't coach him. You stayed away from him. You didn't coach him. I never gave him one piece of instruction. We've become really close now. But there were some times that, he's such a fiery, competitive guy. Somebody said it to me best, like, he was a special athlete, a special focused athlete, and those people are different. And you got to embrace that difference, because you can't be as focused and as driven as he is and be a normal person. And I had to learn that. And so I stayed away from him as much as I could. And we still had some collisions. And because he didn't want to give up any ground as a starter. And I probably made a mistake of not respecting that a little bit at the end. But it's funny, because the two of us have become very, very close in the last 3 or 4 years.
So, you talk about the 04 team that was unbelievable. Probably could have beat Tampa. But then you coach the Blues, and we watched you coach this unbelievable team. You guys were so damn successful, and you just couldn't find a way. And then all of a sudden the Blues do win the Stanley Cup, and you probably look at that team, and you're like, well, we probably had a better lineup throughout some of the years that you coached. I mean, how do you reflect back on that? And do you ever look at it like, damn, I should have done this better? Maybe we should have got this guy. Like, what's your take on your years with St. Louis and why you probably didn't win?
Cam, when I look at it, like, I thought we really maxed out with our team there. I thought we had 3 or 4 years where we got everything we could out of them. But I think the lesson for me is, if you expect to win in the playoffs, you need 2 things more than anything. You need a goaltender that can win you a series and that can win the cup for you. You need your goalie to be the best player on your team. Yeah. And number 2, you've got to have timely scoring every time. You need go-to people who can score a goal at the right time. And when you look at all the teams that won, we had it in Dallas. We went through it. That, to me, is a big difference. And when I look at the teams that we had, I felt like we could have won 2 cups there. I really did in St. Louis. But the difference for me was Quick and Crawford in the 2 years. Mm-hmm. And our goaltending was good. Theirs was incredible. And they had the same 3 or 4 players each team score big goals for them. And then when I looked at, and I was really proud of the Blues when they won, I looked at the way Binnington played, and he won it, and he won that series against Winnipeg. Like, Winnipeg was playing better; they were a better team, but Binnington was outplaying Hellebuck, and that was the small advantage that they needed, and they got it. And then the timely scoring, especially from the 3 guys that Army added there, was just incredible. Especially with Shannon O'Reilly. You need that. You got to have that going for you if you expect to win in the end. And to me, I don't know if we were better in Dallas, but we had Eddie Belfour, and we had Brett Hull, and we had Mike Modano, and we had Joe Nieuwendyk. And anytime there was a big goal that needed to get scored, those guys scored it. And Eddie out-dueled. He had Patrick Waugh. He had Hasek. He had some major players he had to out-duel, and he did it.
Yeah, he did.
What was your interaction and just overall relationship coaching a guy like Tarasenko, Hitch? Like, how do you reflect on that coach player relationship, just trying to get this incredible talent that he possesses, get him to the highest level to truly become an elite superstar in the NHL?
Well, Vladdy's another example of be careful how you do it, because you could end up doing it really wrong. And to me, I've always believed in players like Tarasenko, like Rick Nash, like Mike Modano, those special players. You have to decide what you want out of them to change, and that has to be your long-term goal, not your short-term goal. And if you make it your short-term goal, the player's going to get discouraged and he's going to become disinterested or frustrated. But what you've got to pound on is his strengths. And so for me, with guys like Nash and Modano and these guys, I wanted them to compete like hell on the puck, and the rest of the game we would teach them over time. And that's the same thing I pushed with Vladdy. I learned a lot of lessons. Vladdy had some great years when I was there, and I learned a lot of lessons before in dealing with players like Vladdy. And I learned over time is, if you want them to be better defensively, if you want them to be better on track and reload coming back, it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. But if you want him to help your team win, then you better make sure he competes like hell on the puck, because that's his calling card, and he's going to have to do that to help you win games.
Andy Strickland and Cam Jansen here for you for GadgetBuyback.com. Yeah. Gadget Lab, they got a store here locally if you're in St. Louis, 5541 Telegraph Road. Here's the deal. You got an old phone, maybe a cracked tablet. Maybe it's perfect, but it's a little bit older. Turn it in right now. www.GadgetBuyback.com. Upgrade your devices, phones, computers, watches.
Anything.
Doesn't have to be Apple either.
No.
Get those tablets turned in. Again, www.gadgetbuyback.com, 877-772-8880. Now back to the interview.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you were let me ask you this. I always hear about a coach's shelf life. Like, eventually there's an expiration date. It comes. As a coach, do you know when that date is? Like, you're not going to fire yourself, but you know when that time is. Can you explain that feeling? Is it a hopeless feeling of knowing that you probably have gotten the most you can get out of a particular group?
You know before it happens. You know long before it happens. It's a feeling you get when there's not the response you're looking for, and you know it. You just know it. There's a feeling that I don't know how to describe it, but you get this feeling. It's an uneasy feeling, and you know when you're squeezing everything out of your group and when you're not squeezing it, and you know it as a coach. And I'm not bragging or saying, like showing off rings or, whether it's Stanley Cup or World Championship or World Cup or Olympics or whatever. I'm proudest of that I survived, that I had a long career as an NHL coach, and I'm really proud of that. But I also know that the reality of expecting a coach to be in the same place for 6 years is now unrealistic. We were the last bastion of that. And then when the English Premier League started getting guys removed in 3 and 4 years, we started following the same suit. And that's where we're at, is you get 6 years with the same team and you've done an amazing job, and you've probably won 1 or 2 championships to get that far.
What's it like being fired, Hitch? Can you explain the feeling? Like, when you know you're not going to work the next day with your team, like, what does that feel like?
It's the gauntlet of emotions. You go, like in my case, I went from anger with Doug. I was really disappointed when I got let go with Doug. First of all, we're very close friends, still are. But I was really disappointed because I thought the Shattenkirk situation was like a pall over our hockey club, and it wasn't being fair to everybody. And I said that to Doug when I got let go. But after a while, you start to say, did I have a good run? And I had a very, very good run there. and I was really proud of the way the players competed and played for me. But there's a lot of emotion that you go through, and then after a while, you start moving on. You start moving on. Like, that's one thing about hockey coaches is we're a resilient bunch, and you start moving on, and so you start figuring out ways you want to get better. But the one thing that bothers me, guys, is that you hear all these things like, well, Hitch survived because he changed. And I never changed. I just adjusted. I adjusted to the times, and that allowed me to keep going in my career. But to say coaches change, you don't change. You are who you are, and that's something you should be proud of. But if you're smart, you adjust. And I was able to adjust because I studied what I did, how I did it, what went right, what went wrong. And then I looked for information that would keep making me current if I ever wanted to go back again.
All right, you say you were angry. So, like, were you caught off guard? Were you surprised? Like, what do you say when you're being fired, when you're pissed off like that, Hitch?
No, I felt we weren't playing to our potential. And in the end, the team was what it was. But I was angry, and it was me just lashing out. But I felt like one of the things that was holding us back was, is he staying or is he going? Like, is he in? Is he out? Is he staying? Is he going? And I thought it just became a drumming headache that would never go away. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that everybody was in a tough spot. And so I said it. And, Doug said, I appreciate that. And then we moved on. And, it was very emotional for both of us because, look, Doug hired me for St. Louis. Doug was a prime responsible player in getting me to Dallas. He was involved in getting me to Kalamazoo. Like, we've been through a lot together. We've been in Olympic Games together and had some very, very emotional moments in those things. So we've been through it all, and it's amazing. We've remained close all the way.
Yeah. I got to ask you a personal question here, Hitch. Listen, the weight loss, like, it's been well documented. I've read some stuff where you talked about maybe even being up close to like 475 pounds at one point in your career, Hitch. But it appears like you have it under control. What have you been able to do to get it under control? And I'm curious, how much of a battle, how difficult has that been? And what's that been like for you, Hitch, over the course of your adult life from a mental standpoint to deal with that?
Well, there was a period of time when I was younger, when I was coaching in midget and junior, where, quite frankly, it was out of control eating. It was just eat anything, anywhere, anytime, do whatever you want. And I had no structure in my life for a long time as a youngster. And I didn't have any personal structure. And so I took off, and it was kind of a fight or flight. As I started to get into hockey, I found a lot of look, I don't think it's any secret that I feel terrific today because I don't have any stress in my life. And stress does a number of things to you, fellas, and high level of stress for a number of years. It wasn't like I ate everything under the sun. I was very careful, but stress does that to you. And I think I'm in pretty darn good shape, and I feel really good about myself because there's no stress in my life. So if I was ever to go back to coaching again, that's something I better make sure I'm balancing, because if you don't manage the stress of the job, it can either start you drinking, or you can put on weight, or you stop taking care of yourself. Because I'm telling you right now, coaching is an obsessive position. It's a very obsessive job. It stays with you 24 hours a day. You never get rid of it. You never lose it. It stays with you all the time. And striking a balance is really hard. And you need people around you who are strong people to help you strike the balance, because it's very, very hard to do it yourself.
God almighty. And not to mention, you have food left and right everywhere when you go on trips. You have just buffets everywhere. So it's in front of you nonstop. But I'm glad you brought the alcoholism up too, Hitch, because it's not just eating. It's when you're obsessive and you're stressed out, like you tend to like find another fix to have, right? Whether it's drinking or eating or whatever the case is. So it's a difficult situation overall. It really is.
Yeah, Cam, you just start lashing. You just
Yeah.
start swinging for fences. You swing at everything.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I did, which now I know my body didn't help me, is I starved myself. And I would go and I ate very, very little, and it didn't help. It didn't help at all. My body, what happened to my body was that it started saying, well, F you.
Yeah.
We're storing up because you're not feeding, you're not helping, we're storing up. And so you need people around you. First thing you need to come to grips is you're not in control all the time.
Yeah.
You need people around you that can help you and can take care of you. And it can be family, it can be friends, it can be special people that you're confident in that they've got your best interests there. But you need to have those people around so that it's very difficult to, on a daily basis, take care of yourself because the stress level is just so high, and it's way higher now than it's ever been. And that's why you see a lot of times coaches later on, they have a tough time with things because they haven't found a balance in their life, and they haven't found things that can occupy their time when they're not coaching.
Yeah, no, I give you a ton of credit for getting it under control, but was there ever a time, Hitch, in your career, earlier in your career, where you felt like maybe your weight would not allow you to get an opportunity that maybe you deserved? And is there somebody that helped you get it under control, Hitch, and get you to where you are today, both physically and mentally?
Oh, I had people in my life that really, really helped me, and I had people in my life that I owe a debt of gratitude to. Karina, for sure, has helped me so much in just understanding what stress does and how you have to manage the stress. I look at to me, testing stress for coaches nowadays has to be paramount in the NHL because you got to know that. You got to know how to handle it, and you've got to be educated on how to handle it, and you've got to make sure that you got people around you that are watching out for you. And I was lucky. I had assistant coaches that were really looking out for me, and Karina was looking out for me, and they did amazing things to make sure that I stayed focused. And like I said, the last 7, 8, 9 years have been really, really good for me, and you go through the same health scares as everybody else, but I got out of this thing in a good fashion. And I think the one thing you understand, like, this is what you miss, is 90% of the people in my life come from hockey, and 90% of them are the most sincere people. I have no problem calling people, saying I need help, and they do it right now. But man, to have quality people like that in your life for the rest of your life, it makes it really worthwhile being in the game.
Last thing for you, Hitch, just a couple more questions. Are you glad you went back and got into coaching? I know you coached Dallas for a year, and then you moved on to Edmonton. Like, when it's all said and done, do you feel fortunate you got an opportunity to see a guy like Connor McDavid up close and personal every single day, had an opportunity to coach him? Like is he that special of a person? We know how great he is as a player. Being around him, Hitch, like what kind of impression does he leave on you?
Well, first of all, going back to Edmonton was one of the best things that ever happened to me in my life. First time coaching in Canada, first time in that atmosphere. I couldn't believe how intense it was. You hear things. I couldn't believe how. I laugh about this story. I tell people this story. My second day on the job, I was at a Starbucks near the place I was staying at. And I went in and got a coffee, and outside was a guy sitting, and he was a homeless guy, and I threw a couple of bucks in there. And I went and got the coffee, and I was standing in line, and he tapped me on the shoulder. And he was in line. He got the money from me and a couple other people. He was buying a coffee, but he wanted to talk to me about our power play. And that was a wake-up call for me in Edmonton. Like, hockey is a 24-hour business in Edmonton, and it was that experience that I went through that was wonderful. The thing for Connor, what makes Connor special, and Leon's very similar, there are no moments off ever for those guys. You want the best players at practice, there's your guys. You want the best focus guys in weight room, there's your guys. You want the people that start the best in games, there's your guys. You want the go-to people, there's your guys. I mean, there's good players, and there's a lot of good players, but the whole package is that they drive the bus competitively at practice, they drive the bus competitively during the games, they start the games driving the bus, they hold each other accountable, they hold the group accountable, and then when it's all over and they got to go in the weight room, they're pounding it as harder than anybody there. Like, that's what's amazing is they're great players, they're great people, but man, are they driven athletes. And that's why I think the game is in such a great place now, because all the young players that are great players now, they're so driven, they're driving their teams to exceptional levels now, and that's what makes it so much fun to watch.
All right, last thing for you. This is really a Cam question.
Oh, is it?
But you made a lot of money, Hitch, as a coach. I mean, do you ever splurge on yourself? Do you buy anything?
Tell me you do,
Do you have any toys?
Hitch, tell me you have a boat and you kick your feet up and you relax, please. Tell me
Besides
that.
golf
God
clubs,
damn.
what do you buy for yourself, Hitch? And your
Come on.
and your sweaters, your quarter zip sweaters that you wear, and your hockey hoodies.
Aren't you? You guys are priceless. You know what? I don't splurge on myself enough, and I don't do it because I think I'm lucky and it's going to end someday. And look, I know it's not going to end and I'm going to be fine for the rest of my life, but I don't splurge. I'm not tight, but I don't splurge. And I think for me, that's the way I'm going to live the rest of my life. Like, somebody's going to get a lot of money when I'm passed through this world, and it ain't going to be me. But I just feel like I like the routine I have now. I like the lifestyle I have, and if I'm going to spend any money, it's going to be on helping others. And I'm doing that on a quiet basis. Sometimes it's not so quiet, but I'm trying to do that and stay as low key as I can.
Good. Spend your money on a boat for me. That's all good. And if you want to go on a boat, I got a bunch of rich buddies anyway. They got a bunch of great stuff. So
Hitch, listen,
you're
man,
the man, Hitch, dude.
Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. And
Thank you.
And yeah, I hate to say, I hate to talk like you don't coach anymore, because I could just hear you saying one day I'm gonna go coach. Like the next day, a team's gonna hire you.
He wants to do podcasts with us.
You just never know. But listen, be proud of your career, Hitch. You're one of the all-time greats.
Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much.
Well, guys, listen, I can tell you one thing. If I decide to go back and I decide to do it, I'll be more than ready. So don't be too surprised someday if it doesn't happen.
Oh, I won't be surprised.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you're serious there too, Hitch. So we'll be paying attention to that. And any teams out there, and listen, the travel doesn't get to you, Hitch. You don't mind the travel anymore, huh?
I don't. You know what I don't like, Andy, is I don't like. I got two nice homes now, and I feel like I don't feel like I want to go and rent and live in an apartment just to coach. Like, if I could move to the city and live there full time and be the coach, that's what I do. But to just go and rent an apartment and do that, that's the part that bothers me more than anything. I feel like I'm just a part-timer then, and I don't want to feel like that again. I got a home. I got homes now, and I got people that I'm connected in the community. And that's what I like so much about St. Louis is, man, I was so connected to people there, whether it was the Blues or the people at Glen Echo or in the mansions there. Like, it was a great feeling. And I'm spoiled by that feeling. And I don't want to take back from that.
Andy, he's looking over the ocean, kicking his feet up, or he's in Kelowna.
I don't see an expansion team in Kelowna anytime
Kelowna
soon,
ain't happening.
So.
We lost the Memorial Cup.
But next time we do this, Hitch, we're going to be in Kelowna.
Yeah.
We're sitting in your living room in Kelowna.
Hey, this is as close as you turkeys are getting.
I knew that. Love you, buddy. Thanks, Hitch. You're the man.
Hitch.
Appreciate it,
All right,
dude.
take care.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
See you guys.
Talk soon.
Bye.
That was Ken Hitchcock. here on the Cam and Strick podcast, man. Interesting conversation and a little bit of insight in what he's doing. You know, the best part about it, Cam, is that it sounds like he's content doing what he's doing and not feeling like he has to try to find the way to get back into coaching. I think he understands the grind that comes with it, and he's cool with not doing it right now.
I think he's going crazy.
No, he's not.
No. I think he's going crazy. And I think every coach like him who's so meticulous on everything, they go crazy when they're not coaching. And but he doesn't want to travel. So your body can only do so much. I'm just saying.
But here's what the conversation we had this morning. And you're right. Like when he left, say, like all these times you heard about, you know, oh, he's signing a 1-year extension. He wants to go year to year. He doesn't want to coach next year. He wants this to be his last year, all that type of stuff. It was never true. He never wanted to get out of coaching back then. He always wanted to stay into coaching.
Course,
I think now, and talking to him today, it's like he always will envision himself as a coach. But
he can't travel, though. It's too much.
He doesn't want to go live in a city in a one-bedroom apartment. And he doesn't want to get to the rink at 6 o'clock in the morning and stay there till 6 or 7 at night.
But he watches hockey videos all damn day.
Yeah, but you know what?
That's what I'm saying.
But he said, you know, the way he put it today, he said, now I can enjoy my second cup of coffee. I've never been able to do that.
There you go then. No, exactly. So, but my point is, if he's not doing anything as far as coaching is concerned, he's not having these Zoom calls with fucking anybody and everybody to just pick his brain. Like that gets him going, dude. I don't even think he cares about the beautiful ocean and probably a multi-million-dollar house he's living in and anything like that. I think he's just like, I want people to pick my brain and I want to give my knowledge out because I've done this my whole life and I want to be a part of it, but I cannot. Honestly, the travel is so extensive. The time, the video, it's not worth it when you could just kick your feet up and just do a Zoom call with somebody and get your fix that way.
Yeah, but he loves talking to the American League coaches. He loves talking to junior coaches, doing all of that.
Yeah.
And not having the stress that comes with it because, you know, you get to a point, what else does he have to prove as a coach?
Nothing.
You know?
No, he's golden, dude. But you're just bored. And I think that he's just he's a psycho. No, and I mean this in good way. No, he is.
He's a rink rat.
He's a fucking
he loves
psycho.
The game, yeah.
He's a hockey psycho, and that's kind of a compliment. But that he can't turn it off. But you can slow it down, right? Like you don't have to travel. But I'll do a fucking Zoom call.
And he doesn't have to turn it off either, right? He can slow it down.
Slow it down. That's what I mean. You can't when you're that way. You can't. That's why it's just like he's in a good spot.
Because if he wanted to coach, he could coach. It may be
too much.
It may be hard to find another NHL gig, although somebody probably out there would give it to him.
What, you do a minor league gig?
Well, they used to bring him in to kind of fix the situation or to try to turn things around, knowing it would be a short-term situation. You know, but like, what's he going to do, coach junior or something like that? What's he going to do, coach in the minors? I mean,
and what's your family saying to you, too? Like, can you be around? Like, be around. Like, I know you working. You have just money. I don't know. We talk about this all the time, not just with Hitch but even like Alan Walsh.
You want to be available.
It's like, if you have the money, honestly, now he's bringing money into things, but money has a lot to do with a lot of things, okay? Like, it honestly
and he's made a lot of money.
Let's be honest with ourselves here. So my point is, like, when you're getting older and you have just a wealth of money and you're fine and your kids are taken care of, wouldn't your family just say, what the fuck are you traveling for? I know you love what you do, but can we like go to the beach all day and can you just do Zoom calls at night with people and extend your knowledge that way so we could enjoy the fucking hard work that you've done for 30 years? I'm hanging out by myself.
Even Doug Armstrong talked about that a little bit.
That's what I said to him, too.
I mean, he's got to give something back to his wife at some point. He knows that time will come. You know, Joel Quenneville, when he decided where he was going to coach next and obviously landed in Florida, people who close to Joel would say, well, his wife has a lot of influence over where they go next. I mean, she's kind of been following. She's kind of been following Coach Q around from one stop to the next. Now she's going to have a say. So whether that's being on the West Coast or being near the water on the East Coast, wherever. Now they're down in Florida.
Does your wife like when you're around? Does she?
Oh yeah.
My wife, I can't.
Loves it.
She wouldn't want me to do that. Like I wouldn't be, she'd be like, you're going away every weekend. She could not handle that anymore. We've already done that shit, man. Like I'm 36 years old and I want to chill at my house. Like honestly, I don't want to do anything. And we're in a good spot that we could actually probably do that and fucking sit in our house and do our radio show every day and do our podcast and things like that. But when you've been working your ass off and you have a family and you can't get away from the game and you don't need the money. It's like if I'm a family member, I'm like, fuck you. You're staying home. I'm not traveling and have people bash you every fucking day.
But
like,
you know what? It comes with a job for some guys, and you get paid a lot of money to do it.
You already have the money.
You get your summers off.
I'm just, fuck you, dude. You kidding? You're at the fucking rink every day. Come on, Andy.
Well,
you think your wife would? No, if you had 40 in the bank, and you're just like, I'm hockey, I want more attention, I want this, and your wife's like, we have 3 kids at home, I want you downstairs with fucking Ty doing 1Ts, and like you're traveling for other kids, grown men, but you're not taking care of your own. You have 40 fucking million in the bank. What? Where's your rebuttal back to that?
I don't know.
What do you say to her?
I'm gonna have 50 in the bank.
Ooh, for what? For what, you cheap ass? You're not even buying a boat anyway.
Well, who says?
I'm fucking telling
Who
you.
says?
What do you need, a 10 million more? Like, Ty's going to be a fucking wheel anyway.
Why would I buy a boat?
Ty's going to wheel fucking, who knows, some fucking wealthy broad from fucking Nottingham who's probably a princess or something.
I don't want a boat. It's the worst investment
you don't know
anyway.
shit.
No, it's the worst
Because
investment.
Buying
a boat's pointless.
Because you have an 18-year-old creeping your wife out the whole time because you don't know how to drive a goddamn pontoon boat.
Well, how am I
going to
get it? Am I going to take it on a dually to Wisconsin? That sounds terrible.
Just like goddamn, you ever watch Yellowstone? You see those dualies on Yellowstone? That show's so badass. That's the dually I want. You could haul a badass boat with that shit kicking dually, 350 fucking dually diesel,
and yet nobody drives them. Nobody.
Where are you from again?
Dude, nobody drives a dually.
What do you mean no one drives a dually? What are you talking about? A ton of people do. Some have nut sacks hanging off the rear end of it.
Is that just a St. Louis thing?
No,
like
it's a
kind of like
Jefferson
out where you
County.
live.
It's not St. Louis.
But
It's not in the wealthy part of Ladue.
Does it exist
Don't worry.
in other parts of the country or no? Or
No.
is that a Missouri thing?
No, they're Texas and all that stuff. But
What about Saskatchewan?
No, but in Ladue they have vaginas.
What about Saskatchewan?
Saskatchewan? They're up there. I get messages.
They
all the
have
time.
what in Ladue?
Vaginas?
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
I can't believe you said that.
No, I saw a couple of them. I saw a bunch of bumper stickers too. It was a vagina, it was a Range Rover, and bumper stickers.
Oh,
it was
really?
really cute.
Really?
But that's in Ladue. But out where I'm at, this ball sacks. I don't fuck with it.
Yeah.
But you got vaginas by you, which is cool. No wrong with that. I like vaginas.
Apparently you want one of those.
A what? A vagina?
Well, hanging from your truck.
Yeah, they're kind of cute.
You need a new truck anyway.
Well, I was going to get Kate both for Christmas and see what she wanted.
What what do you think of the?
I want a vagina and a ball sack right next to each other.
What do you think of the car commercials at Christmas time? It's like the wife bought the husband
a truck,
like $150,000 like Range Rover or something.
No.
And it's like
the one that everybody's bullshitting is just like a 4-year-old commercial.
The matching trucks.
The matching trucks. He walks out. He's like, "Hi,
I get the blue one.
I get the blue one. I want the blue one.
I get red.
Hey, girl, you ain't want no truck. Don't you lie to me." And who is this rich ass motherfucker?
Are you okay
anyway?
with women driving pickups? You like that?
Yeah, I wouldn't want Kate to do it.
No.
Kate
why not?
Well, why does she need it? Is she hauling dirt?
Well, maybe.
No, she's not.
Allegedly,
I'll do
actually,
it.
you are
take
right
my
now.
truck to do. I don't need 2 pickup
But
trucks.
women can drive pickups.
They could do what the fuck they want. Andy, what are you putting me? You trying to put me into a? What are you trying to fucking
put
do?
me into a box?
Don't fucking
Back
fuck
me into
They
a
could
wall?
fly a goddamn space shuttle if they wanted to. They could do whatever they want. But if you're going to drive it, if I'm going to have 2 trucks like this dickwad who walks out, and not to mention he's in California because you could tell there's like a cliff in the background. He's got the big old fucking
Women truly can do anything
Andy,
they want.
no shit.
When you look at their kickers for Vanderbilt's football team now too.
Okay,
Yeah. No, they are.
What? What'd
There
she
was
do?
a female kicker
Yeah, I
for
know, 35
Vanderbilt's.
yards. No, she kicked it 35 yards. That was good.
Like it's a sick pooch.
So
honestly.
sick, dude.
The pooch kick,
Really good.
Was that designed by the
that was
coach
the
and
hardest.
staff?
Look, that was.
That was a design kick. I think the plan was when they got out of the huddle, they said pooch on 2.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Ready?
Totally. You're right.
Pooch.
No, she could have kicked it fucking 80 yards. I'm sure she could.
She could have, but she kicked it 35.
No, she kicked 35, and that was probably as hard as she could. But good for her. And we pumped her tires.
I think
up.
she was the SEC Special Teams Player of the Week.
Can I say something though on that? Good for you, girl. You go in that locker room with a bunch of fucking dudes. Here's what I'm gonna fucking chirp. Not you. The fucking offensive line. The offense of that pussy ass Vanderbilt team. A bunch of doctors. They're gonna be fucking rats. We're in Vanderbilt. They're gonna do our thing. You pussies. You gotta. This poor woman comes in there. She's fucking intimidated as shit. She's got to get dressed in front of you, and you motherfuckers couldn't even get her close to the fucking goal line. You couldn't get her a fucking field goal, although she might have fucking duffed it. We don't know. But you guys didn't give her a chance. She's pacing back and forth on the sidelines because you guys suck so bad. You're all smart, and you're going to make a ton more money than I do, and that's fine, but you embarrass yourself on this. So go fuck yourself. Sorry.
Why are you so passionate about the Vanderbilt football team?
Okay, because if I was playing AAA hockey and there was a girl that get called up and she's on my team,
Dude.
I am busting my ass for this girl like you cannot
Do you know
believe.
that the team I coach right now,
Holy cow.
our U15 AAA Blues, we have a girl on the team who is probably one of the best players, male or female, in the country at her age group.
And
she is so good. She is unbelievable.
If anybody ever bully her or anything,
No,
oh my
dude,
God.
she's like-
Do the boys take care of her?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they better.
But she's like Todd Bertuzzi in the corners, like in
no,
front
but-
of the net,
but
too.
I'm
Like, you
just saying.
can't move her.
Yeah, but God, I would be so
Only thing that
protective.
scares me is she wears these long pink fingernails. I worry about those tearing.
Oh.
I worry about them tearing.
Oh, well, tell her about that.
You
dude.
know,
She
I
can't
don't
have that.
want
Or
those nails tearing.
You don't get your
but
ear
dude,
caught in
she's
your
so
ear
tough.
guard.
Her nail got like split off her finger the other day, similar to what happened to me in Game 7. I stuck through it.
We
I
don't care
played
about
through
that.
it. Her nail came off, and she played it. She just said, "I need a Band-Aid."
What happened? Your nail came off,
It
and you
did.
left for 3 to 4 weeks.
No, I didn't.
You were out 3 to 4 weeks.
Was I?
Here's the point. If I had a female on my team, a hockey team, and anybody even looked at her a weird way, I would be a psychopath. Like, I just would
know,
be
I thought
a
about that.
psychopath
Just
to
trying
protect her.
to defend her at all
my-
times. I know.
Like I wouldn't be able to.
But this family's unbelievable.
Wouldn't
She's
you be
like
able to play?
one of 5. They're all incredible.
Oh, is it
hockey
the Duns?
players. Oh,
the
yeah.
Dunsies?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
She should be a princess.
Future Olympian.
They better take care of her like a princess.
They
dude.
do.
If they don't, you better
Great
let me
player,
know.
so coachable, so smart,
Sweetheart.
and just a great family, great people.
But yeah, I bullshit the Vanderbilt. I don't mean to be that. Those guys are smarter than me. And
You
shit.
went a little bit.
I'm sorry.
You crossed the line with them, I think. Baby.
Pussies. Fuck that. I don't give a shit.
They're
You could
smart. Very smart.
Very smart. But you suck at football.
Yeah.
Poor girl,
Yeah.
pacing back and forth with her mask on, the cameras on her the whole time. She's like, "Can I do something, you losers? Can you do?" Poor girl.
We're getting
bad for
closer and closer to the season. People want a little bit of an update. I would imagine we're going to hear sometime soon.
Oh, fuck, I don't know.
Now we're talking
Jesus
56
Christ.
games, 52 games, somewhere in that range.
man.
Could still be 48. And I would imagine we're going to start somewhere around January 15th, January 22nd.
Whatever.
Could stretch into February. You just never know.
Don't know, man. I like how people are like, this is what I think's going to happen. But like, no one fucking knows. Like, we'll see. Like, the players have to be like, well, okay, we're going to have to sacrifice more.
Oh, that's
Hey,
what's
this is the
no.
fucking
That's
bottom
what's
line.
going to
That's just
happen.
the bottom
I mean, at the end of the day,
It's all on the players. Dude.
when this is all done, when they get back on the ice, and you're going to say to yourself, "Well, how'd they get back on the ice? How did it happen?" Well, the players deferred more money. That's how it
That's
happened.
it. That's it.
So
Do you want your organization to be so? Do you want to fly? Do you want to have like just like who did we talk to the other day? Like, do you want to have like grilled cheese sandwiches on the plane, or do you want to have like fucking steak and lobster?
filet mignon.
Like seriously, like what do you want? The ownership group needs to see some profit one way or the other.
Yeah.
You're in bad times. It's very unfortunate for athletes right now.
Yes.
You might have to just suck it the fuck up, and that's the bottom line.
Well, that's what's going to happen.
You know.
And you know what? Just so in case there's any players listening and you're not sure what it means, when you defer the money, you do get it back. Like you have to, it comes out of your check, but you do get it back down the line. I think they pay it back in over a 3-year
I'm just
period,
saying, though.
like a third of it on October something 2020.
You're getting dinged. You're still
20
getting
this,
dinged,
20 this.
dude.
You
You're still
are, but
getting
you're getting it
fucking
back.
dinged.
You're getting it back. And listen, I don't blame the players for being upset about it, man. You sign a contract,
know.
you want to be paid your money.
I know.
I get it.
I know. Exactly.
Crazy times in
It's
this
crazy
pandemic.
times. That's why we just have to go.
That's
me and
why
you on
I'm
a
not
personal.
really taking sides in this whole situation. Just let me know when you come to an agreement.
Well, this is what we're gonna do. Whether it's hockey or not, Andy, me and you're gonna bring the motherfucking heat no matter what, baby. And we're bringing Hall of Famers on. We'll bring coaches. Oh, you want an owner? Fine. You want a fucking superstar? Fine. Oh, you want a shit kicker from the 70s? Fine. We'll entertain you, whether it's hockey going on or not.
Who's the biggest shit kicker from like the 70s and the early 80s?
I say my fucking Tasmanian devil, baby.
Terry O'Reilly?
He's up there.
We should get him on.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think we should get him on. Maybe we will get Terry O'Reilly on. Boston legend. All right, as always, the show is brought to you by CarShield and CarShield.com. Give them a call today, 800-857-2481. Mention that promo code CAM. You're going to save 10%. That's simple.
Might get
Structure
laid,
the
too.
plan the way you want it. What did you say?
You're gonna have your
So
good...
unnecessary
No, I'm just saying.
for you to say
Boy,
that.
because you always chirp the name part of
I
it.
mean, we're talking about like a
I'm
beautiful company.
you throw the name around, you'll have a chance. If Harry's was still around, fuck, you never know. The point is, they'll hook you up. That's all. That's what I
Yes,
said.
they will hook you up.
Yep.
So if that computer goes down, the engine goes out, what are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to bitch and moan for a little bit and then be stuck, and everybody's like, oh, Cam, what's wrong with your truck? I thought you were like a hockey player. Aren't
Oh,
you
I should
supposed to be wealthy?
I should tell this story.
Aren't you supposed to be wealthy, Cam?
I should
no,
tell this story.
I had a drug addiction.
We
What?
went out to CarShield to shoot a video, and that
Jesus,
video should be out soon. Cam calls me on the way out there. He's like, where are you? I said, I'm driving. I'm almost there. When you get off at the exit, can you pick me up? I have a flat tire.
Oh,
it's like,
fucking
dude, you had a
horrible.
flat tire?
You know, CarShield hooked it up.
It was
dude.
your car or your mom's car?
That was mine.
It was your truck.
That was my truck.
Yeah, so all of a sudden I pull over. There's a cop. on the side of the road right behind Cam.
I know.
And good thing we were going to Car Shield because they took care of it.
They took care of it
immediately.
I know.
Good people over there.
Great people, but that place is gigantic, by the way. It
is huge.
So many people working there.
We went to the headquarters.
It's so confusing. Mm-hmm. Like, I got lost in there 15 times. Mm-hmm. Great people.
I think I drilled like 4 or 5.
You didn't do anything cool that day?
By the way, 3 from way downtown. They've got a basketball court there.
If I really look at what we did there, you didn't do anything cool or you just stood there and watched me run around on camera.
Act like an idiot.
Because that's what you do. Act like an idiot, basically. Good Lord. It was all good.
That's
we love them.
True.
Love
that's
them
so
to
true.
death.
We love Bud Light Seltzer, too.
Damn right.
All the flavors. All the flavors. What do you say? All y'all.
All y'all.
All y'all. We love all the flavors. Mango, strawberry, black cherry, lemon lime. Those are the original flavors. But now you can expand your flavors. What do you like? You want that ugly Christmas sweater pack? Hook up that pineapple, the cranberry, the grapefruit in addition to the original flavors. And they have the variety packs.
Yeah, dude.
You never know what you're going to get.
Very
it's like a
Christmassy.
surprise pack.
It's very Christmassy.
Very Christmassy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the flavors are Christmassy, too.
Yeah.
Like cranberry, like mango.
Is mango Christmassy? Andy, you mix and match a bunch of bullshit. I would never want you to cook for me, dude, because I don't think you know what the fuck you're doing. Are you just buying does the kids eat grass? Do you just get grass out of your backyard and say this is what you're fucking having?
Like seaweed?
Grass,
seaweed?
Like just like organic. I have mushrooms. I'm gonna pick these. Do they eat fucking meat? Like I'm sorry. I get worried about. I'm just getting worried about Ty.
Don't get worried.
I'm just saying.
No, he's all good.
Kale and shit.
He's a
Not there's
monster.
anything wrong
You know how
with that.
tall he is? He's like 90 percentile height. We'll see if this continues.
He's one of them grass-fed boys.
Hey, you know how they do it? All these players nowadays are they're all like vegan,
but
vegetarian.
that's why I think
anyway.
you're doing it, though. I think you're just
You think
looking,
I think he's going to be Ryan O'Reilly?
And Steiner. I think you're hanging out with Ryan O'Reilly and Steiner too much.
Paul
and you're like,
Stastny?
these guys are perfect. I want to. I don't. They eat grass all day. Like, damn, I'm gonna have to come over and evaluate.
They didn't start eating grass till they
I'm
had
gonna have to
about, till
evaluate
they each
that.
had
I gotta
about,
evaluate your parenting schools.
They didn't start eating grass till they each had about 30 in the bank, though. By the way,
Isn't that funny how it works? now we're gonna.
It's like now I'm gonna change.
We got here. I got 30 in the bank
after we made it.
No shit.
Now we're gonna change.
Now I'm gonna be a vegan.
But it does extend their career.
All right.
It makes them feel good. Recovery.
If you feel good, that's all that matters.
You wouldn't know anything
but
about
Ty doesn't even know about that. Ty's like, give me some fucking steak, daddy. Like, I need to fucking battle in the corners and shit. I need to get fed. And you're like, here's some more grass. Here you go. Like, fuck. Damn. I'm gonna have to come over, dude.
All right. We're keeping it handsome at my house too. KeepItHandsome.com.
You got flow, dude. The kids got flow.
All the hair products you're looking for.
The kids got flow.
We can hook it up. You should hook it up too. What a great stocking stuffer.
Very much so. You smell sexy. No, you don't smell sexy. You smell handsome.
Is there a difference?
Well, when Kate gets dolled up, I smell her hair all the time, right? I like to smell Kate's hair. Do you ever do that with your wife?
Oh, yeah.
It's very bizarre. Don't do it in front of people because
No,
I catch myself doing that sometimes. But I smell her hair. I'm like, God, it turns me on.
A good smell.
I smell Kate. She smells pure. Like I smell kind of funky all the goddamn time. But whenever I do wash my hair with this and I put gel in, like she smells me and she's like, God damn, boy.
She's like, it smells good.
God damn, boy.
And you put the Fight Ugly hoodie on. That's a winning combination right there.
Like, and you're fucking bagging up bullies. You smell good and you're bagging up bullies. What's up?
We want to see some pictures. We want to see some pictures of people wearing their Fight Ugly hoodies. Yeah. Hit us up. Show us that chill zone. And put those pictures up on Instagram. Good price, too. And you'll save even more when you mention the promo code CAM and Strick. You're going to save 15%. So check that out. KeepItHandsome.com. Bellman.com. Get that new ride in time for 2021. Now's a great time to buy a car.
It is.
It's a great time to buy a house, and it's a great time to buy a car. No better time to go out to Bellman. Bellman.com. Check it out. They got the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram on one side of the street. On the other side, the Cadillac, the Buick, the GMC. Just go for a test ride.
Yeah, dude.
And see what fits
I'll
your
take that
fancy.
Buick. Buick.
Cam wants that Buick Enclave, the pure pearl white, I think is the color.
I'll still look badass in that mug, dude.
Could be called Pearl Ice.
Tell them to hook me up, man. I'll take
they
that
will.
fucking thing.
It's got the captain seats.
Yeah, dude. I'll fucking cruise around that bad boy.
And, you can get anything you want. I mean, honestly, for the summer or the winter. But with the winter coming,
that dually, baby.
You want all those four-wheel drive vehicles. It seems like every one of their makes, makes a badass truck, four-wheel drive car. So you have plenty to choose from out there. Lots of options. And they want to buy your used car, too. So check that out, BEHLMANN.com. Do want to give a shout-out to our boy over there with Victor Hockey. At VictorHockeyUSA.com or at VictorHockeyUSA. That's their Twitter account. That's their Instagram. VictorHockey.com is the website. Check out all their great hats. We're going to have some good hats. We've collaborated with Victor Hockey. They flat out get it done. Mention the promo code Cam and Strick. You're going to save 20% on their hats. So that's a pretty good deal right there. And for those of you who have missed an episode, you want to check out an episode, see where we're at on social media, go to www.camandstrick.com.
Yeah, baby.
And you
Keep
can
it
find
simple.
Everything there.
Simple.
Everything is so simple.
Right there.
I didn't even realize this. I mean, I hadn't gone there in a little while. It really
nice.
is. It is simplified.
You can see everything.
Everything is there. You just hit a button, a full-on list of every episode we've ever had, and just click the button, man.
And we're going to spice it up, too.
You don't have to search it.
Andy and I are going to do a lot of videos and shit like that. Now that we got our new places and stuff like that, eventually we're going to do cooking. We're just going to fucking entertain you, man.
Cooking shows?
Yeah, I want to show you how to cook.
Dude,
and I want to see how shitty you are.
Dude, I'm a great cook. I really am. And I could do a great cooking show, too. We'll do that. That's coming up very, very soon.
Grass and water.
Look
cooked.
for it.
Fuck me.
On the Cam and Strick podcast.